that Scientology is so afraid of.
This is SPTV.
Hello, you guys. Welcome back to SPTV, where, as you all already know by heart, we ask ourselves every single day the same damn question. What in the literal hell is Scientology so afraid of, you guys? What is it? And who do we have here in the chat? Shout out to Love is the Law. And shout out to the wonderful Liz Ferris. Hello, Liz. You are doing amazing. We're all doing amazing, you guys. Literally on fire. That's right, you guys. We're on fire and the weather is freezing because we're making it rain and we're making it snow and we're tearing all manner of stuff apart. All manner of lies that we just cannot stand. You know, we're just tearing it all apart because it's not worth it staying in the same place for this, doing the same thing and expecting a different result and all of that. So I really want to start by thanking all of you that have sent such thoughtful messages and such wonderful support in our community that is growing and growing every day, you guys. And that's the oxygen that we have to go out there and continue to ask questions on the sidewalk, questions that we're asking ourselves outside of hotels and commercial buildings, doing so peacefully. So CC to the LAPD. And shout out to all of you who are very supportive and making a difference. This is making a literal difference, you guys. The testing center could not be more shut down, as if the crisis management of Scientology is always to hide what they're doing in this like elitist attitude that no one on the outside understands what in the hell we do. Well, they do now. Thanks to all the streamers putting you on blast every day from a sidewalk. You are just erecting more walls and you are just acting in exactly the way a sham and a scam that is very afraid to be discovered what in the hell y'all are doing in there is acting, because the only crisis management y'all can do is hide. But you know what, you guys? That is not a very good long-term strategy. It's not a long-term strategy at all. And every day, more and more stuff gets exposed on these videos, and we know that they're watching so carefully, you guys, because of the simple fact that every day there's a new crisis management operation that gets propped up to deal with what we know are the flaps, which is what they call it in there. Okay, so anything that could have landed them in bad PR, they're calling that a flap. And including but not limited to Streets LA calling them out on their trafficking of humans in vans very late at night. Well, you know what? There were no motherships to spot anymore yesterday, you guys. Nothing. Everything was empty. Everything was shut off. And they, doubled down on putting up more boards, more blockage, and, pretend that as long as they stick their hands and their heads and their entire bodies deep inside the toilet, then it's all going to be okay. Well, let's see about that. But the LAPD still at it, you guys, doing all manner of unhinged fake detentions. They are just so pressed to establish a pattern that we are all documenting, because they really want to not change. They really want to continue protecting what is done to kids inside of those hotels. And it's not a good look for anyone at the LAPD. So PR department would love for y'all to start typing something quick, because plenty of people are asking questions. Very good questions in our comments, you guys. And keep making all of your eagle-eyed findings that you keep putting in the comments, because I think the community needs to see your brilliance. It's y'alls that are actually going through these videos. It's y'all that are pointing out that the man found with knives on him was released on his own recognizance. Just, well, you know, Mr. Perry, just leave. You don't have to pay anything for everything that we saw at the LAPD Hollywood division. You just go. Oh yeah, your knives, I think we give them to your friend. Not great, you guys. That the LAPD has come for us. Literally, we had to strip search ourselves ahead of almost like stepping out of our car to make a point to the LAMFPD that they better really stop effing with us. Because every single false arrest, every single fake call, every single unfounded, outrageous, delusional allegation is being recorded in real time. And it's being watched, LAPD, again, for the dinosaurs that are the leadership at the LAPD. Y'all can't go with, let's just be corrupt and throw our weight around, because no one is going to give an F. So that's been y'all's modus operandi for whatever many decades you've developed that bad habit. Well, that bad habit about to die with y'all. That little bad habit is about to literally implode in front of all of y'all's face. Leadership at the LAPD and leadership of Karen Bass. Mayor Karen Bass, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, that did share a stage for herself with David Miscavige, that did purport to really want to change a lot of things. And she's already been a year inside that little office of hers, you guys, Karen Bass. And you know what she has done? Not checked her LAPD unhinged police department. Let's just start with that one fact, Karen Bass, just to really tell your team just how every day that goes by with y'all just ignoring it, because you know what? The corporate media is not covering any of this. And you know what? Since they're not covering it, then it means it's not happening. Well, we know why the corporate media doesn't cover it, Karen Bass, because they are also in the business of laundering images for y'all. As if the corporate media are not puppets, literal puppets of the publicists of Hollywood, you guys. Why did Harvey Weinstein? Why did Jeffrey Epstein? Why did Scientology get away with it? Because they have publicists behind the scenes making all manner of deals, and it's called, they are leveraging They're so-called influencers that control the algorithms, as if we didn't have Jessica and Streets LA canceled on TikTok. Chinese-based TikTok that really is grooming this young generation to be very afraid. God forbid that you break a community line set up by TikTok. We will cancel you. And if anyone in these chats, and I know that y'all are from every possible generation, these algorithms are programmed. So as much as everybody pretends it's all just luck, it's just like, oh, people just put it there and then it just goes there and it just goes there. You know, TikTok algorithm is manipulated, turned on, turned off. Oops, let's not too much traffic over there. Let's just shut it off. So very, very, very nasty behavior from TikTok, who's joining the ranks of the LAPD and Scientology and Mayor Karen Bass's office, all together in a little room. And you know what? We're not selecting who goes in that room. They are selecting themselves, you guys, because it's called y'all are making choices and y'all are coming through on your adult choices. So everyone at TikTok in Los Angeles, you guys, which TikTok has a huge office here by Culver City, huge. Stages, people running in and out, leadership of TikTok that apparently is very up for influenceability. Very, very quickly, they can make all manner of decisions and hide behind this curtain of like, oh, but the algorithm really decided, you guys. We had no clue. Please. We are not kids in adult bodies. We are literal adults in adult bodies, leadership at TikTok. So literally stop insulting our intelligence, because y'all are getting investigated and we're finding out all manner of stuff that's going on at TikTok. Because again, you guys, these communities are very hooked up. And there's whistleblowers in the tech companies. There's whistleblowers at the LAPD. There's whistleblowers at the corporate media, literally. Because you know what? Not everyone is compromised. Let's not forget, you guys. Not everyone at the LAPD is compromised. The people at TikTok, the people at Karen Bass's office, the people at the LAPD, and the people of Scientology all know personally firsthand, based on the choices they've made as adults to move how they have moved, personally know how implicated they are in all of this corruption. So for what it's worth, our judgment does not even matter. It's just the facts that are getting exposed and just the facts that crumble under scrutiny. And when y'all have a community of people that are watching stuff and are not just gullible, manipulatable robots, then none of these people that are doing all this stuff can get away with nothing. And they are pressed about that. But they're going to be more pressed when they find out that we don't give a shred of an F how pressed they are. Literally. So that is the beginning of our segment, you guys. Moving on to Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, and Katie Holmes, because y'all have been really sending me the link and really wanting me to audit this new documentary that came out that is called The Actor, the Cult, and the Women Left in Their Wake. And it's by another creator that goes by at Not the Good Girl. So it's a long documentary, it's 2 hours, and we're gonna check out the speed. Thank you, Harley62. We're gonna check out the speed, maybe do it a little bit faster, you guys, because I want to get through it. But I think it's very good that we watch this documentary because there's a lot of context and background information that we have to continue to expose. So as we dive into this live audit of the Not the Good Girls latest documentary, we are fixing to scrutinize the depth of the investigation and the critical thinking skills being thrown into the mix. We're going to wade through the intricate web of information being laid out, and with a cup of tea in hand, I finished my tea, you guys, but I do have this this juice, which is guanabana juice. It's very good for you. It's antioxidant superfruit. So good. It's all natural, no added sugar. They wouldn't let us eat sugar in Scientology, you guys. We're gearing up to see if there's literally layers of truth hidden within the narrative. This documentary, highly anticipated by literally y'all, is supposed to shine a light on the ins and outs of Scientology and the aftermath on the actor and the women caught up in this mess. Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes, and Nicole Kidman included. We're going to audit how far into the weeds it gets. As we get settled, we recognize the responsibility to break down the content with a discerning eye, knowing that the truth only pops up when all the facts are laid bare. The big question we're throwing out there is, how far does this documentary go in digging into the complexities of the subject matter? Is it really navigating the nuances of Scientology's influence, or is it just skimming the surface? Our scrutiny isn't just about the info presented, but also the method used in grabbing and figuring out the facts. And it's going to be fun to get into all of it, because the devil is in the literal details. This is the one documentary that y'all have been asking me to audit the most. So let's investigate and see it and see what needs to be squared up that's on the public record. Are there holes in the story, or does it really give us the lowdown on the actor and dive into the cult and how that happened to the women around him? As we get rolling on this analysis and exploration, we are pushing back for a spirit of open-minded inquiry. We are allowed to have an open-minded inquiry. And we're allowed to be inquisitive. We're allowed to ask questions when receipts don't match. So shout out to the LAPD that apparently doesn't think that receipts matching is a thing. Shout out to y'all there. So with our tea on standby and our critical thinking in full swing, let's invite you all to join us in this live audit. Let's navigate the tricky terrain of the actor, the cult, and the women left in their wake, and let the truth roll out as we embark on this journey together, aiming to sort out fact from fiction and uncover the layers of complexity in this gripping documentary. And you know what? We don't give a shred of an F about holding back. We're diving in deep as usual. Okay, you guys, let's check out this documentary. Let's see what in the hell it's saying. So I think I put it for 1.75 speed, you guys. Let's see if we can do it. Since I can't read the chat, y'all let me know if y'all want me to slow it down or if it's okay. Let's check it out. Let's do a test.
In the 1950s, a science fiction writer and attempted self-help guru wanted to get out of paying taxes, so he created a religion based on some of his work. It was called Scientology. He claimed he had been a prince in his past life and told people they could control their lives with their very own minds, something he taught how to do in his religion. He became...
Okay, I think it's too fast. I mean, it's hard to digest L. Ron Hubbard. And I think that if we go too fast like that, it's just like, it's going to give us all severe ADD. So let's just go back to the normal speed, you guys.
Known for bashing the medical industry and anyone who dared question his methods. While many laughed at his ideas and some countries even deemed Scientology a cult, he pressed on, eventually recruiting some of Hollywood's most famous faces, celebrities like John Travolta, Priscilla Presley, Kirstie Alley, Michael Pena, Tom Cruise, and many more. Celebrity Scientology.
So let's just really contextualize that for all of you guys, because again, we're talking about a Hollywood situationship, and the celebrities of these hotels, the celebrity members of these hotels are the ones responsible in a big, big way. Their full endorsement of these hotels stands as a so-called seal of approval, as if they're not literally putting their money where their mouth is. So all of these celebrities are being contextualized so that y'all can really start seeing how this operation got started. And, you know, there is no other so-called religion that has been targeting and grabbing influencers in the way that L. Ron Hubbard really did perfect for himself and for his proteges, to give themselves some sort of level of credibility that they never deserved.
Diligently praise their religion for helping them better their lives in all areas. But behind the scenes, a twisted and tax-free empire was being built. A billion-dollar church that attacked and harassed ordinary people, broke into FBI buildings to steal confidential documents, imprisoned many of their own believers, and even made some disappear. With the rise of the internet and smart technology, it became difficult for this cult to hide their secrets. This included the hostile
So now, I'm just a small point about Shelly being disappeared, you guys. There's plenty of people that are disappeared. Okay, so when you're in the Sea Org, if you do something wrong on your so-called post, you could be disappeared. Where's Sebastian today? Disappeared. Where's Angel today? Disappeared. Anybody that gets in trouble can be disappeared. Now, are they really disappearing, or are they just being locked up in another job that they give them, in another situationship that they put him up? Because, you know, when Valeska Perez, one that filed the literal lawsuit of being trafficked as a child, when she had her mom come disaffected about Scientology, she was disappeared to the ship by Dave and Shelly. So they all get disappeared. They all get scrambled around. It's all a crisis management operation. Everyone disappears according to the level of problem they could present to the organization, according to whatever is going on. How many years did we have Sebastian grabbing minors off of Hollywood Street, selling them books and harassing them for hours, you know, offering them a so-called free film, only to waste 3 hours, including but not limited to of their time, where they were just like, do it, you have to do it, and selling them all this like connery and clownery. So Shelly's not the only one that's missing. Sea Org members go missing every single day, and none of y'all would even know, because there's so many of them that have never been mentioned because they're not important. They're not the top fish. They're not at the very top. They're not the ones that are the slave masters. And the bottom line is, Shelly and Dave appointed themselves as the very top tier 2 slave masters. Never mind that, you know, according to every one of these executives that have left, David became unhinged and started ripping them all apart. But once upon a time, they were all frenzy wensies. Okay, so for decades, in fact, they were all just really pitching to each other how much they were saving the planet, as they were also enslaving minors on a weekly basis, as they were also collecting passports of minors and locking them up in safes so that minors couldn't have access to their passport. And that way they could control them. And that way they wouldn't have a flap where the Clearwater police would all of a sudden find a minor and, wanting to escape somewhere. So let's make sure that that's clear, because yes, it's true. Shelly's missing. Apparently, allegedly, I saw something about how she was found somewhere or whatever, and that's the whole point. Anyone who's stuck inside of those hotels can disappear, as if these people don't have hundreds and thousands of square feet of buildings, commercial buildings, or hotels. Those are the two type of buildings they own. And it's very easy to have people disappear if you have that much real estate. So let's amplify that narrative about Shelly being missing, because she's missing also in action in speaking to the FBI, Crimes Against Children Unit. Shelly Miscavige is nowhere to be found going to those offices and turning herself in and being honest for the first time in her life so that she can really start discussing the role she played in reading, including but not limited to copious notes, right, Shelly, in worksheets of information that was data mined out of minors that were supposed to graduate the RPF and get your approval as the final person so they could graduate. So Shelly could not be more implicated herself, you guys, as the very final top fish of whoever Debbie Cook sent to her hole. So I know that just sounds almost impossible to digest in a sentence. So let's just do a diagram here, right? So here it is, Florida. And here's Debbie Cook. All right. And now, for all intents and purposes, since the executives that ran these hotels for decades all decided that, they went to a hole, the RPF is the hole on crack. So let's call it the hole on crack. The hole on crack. Because remember, the hole, okay, at Hemet didn't have minors. So why are we calling Debbie Cook's hole the hole on crack? Because this one was filled with minors and self-admitted, what in the hell we exactly mean. So imagine the 0 to 100 of trailers where all manner of adults were beating on each other, doing all the stuff that we've already heard a million times about. So since we've already heard a million hours of that nauseating narrative, we're going to this point where in Florida, Debbie Cook has a hole filled with minors. And here, Shelly Miscavige is the one that approves who can leave the hole if they've redeemed themselves. Imagine that Shelly Miscavige told me I had redeemed myself as I turned over copious notes of a man who spent and was allowed to spend 5 hours a day, including but not limited to, plus 5 hours of sessions we had to do every single day, and tell me how he raped me in another life, and I did this to you in another life, and I did that to you in another life, and essaying me every day and having to sleep in the same dormitory because, yes, there were tons of bunk beds, but he and I had one room alone, just 2 bunk beds because it was a small room. So there was only a lot of these hacienda rooms were like a huge living room, whereas like most of like the bunk beds were. So it's like 17 bunk beds in the living room because I was big. And then the bedrooms that were converted, very small. And since he was an ethics officer at the RPF, he managed to get himself a room with me. So that's who Shelly Miscavige is, and that's what Shelly Miscavige knows. So don't play dumb, Shelly Miscavige, because you saw my folders and your signature for me to graduate RPF is right there. So you, Debbie Cook, Angie Blankenship, Angie Trent, and all of RTC, Robert E. Mangold, these are all your clients, the ones I'm naming. So take note, write it down on your notes. You represent RTC, right, Robert E. Mangold? Isn't that what you're telling the judge in court? Robert E. Mangold for RTC, Your Honor. We're nothing but a corporation that takes care of trademarks, babysits a lot of trademarks. Well, you know what? Your clients, Robert E. Mangold, were doing a lot more than babysitting trademarks. Just an FYI. Just a little FYI for you. So if you really are that naive, if you really are that gullible, if you really are just taking whatever in the hell these people pitched you that we're doing there. Oh yeah, let's not forget Marty Rathbun, another one of your clients, RTC. So that's just a little expansion on this glib narrative that the media has gone about. Where's Shelly? Where's Shelly? Stop asking yourselves something so stupid. Literally. She's there. Where is Shelly? Not at the FBI. Because that's the new question. In this 2024, we've asked ourselves ad nauseum for a whole decade where the hell she is. Well, you know what? Now we need her at the FBI Crimes Against Children Unit, Robert E. Mangold. So, by all means, coordinate something for your client. Advise them on how to, maybe not cooperate. Because apparently that's all we get from these people, you guys. Don't cooperate. Don't come clean. Keep getting cradled and canoodled because you couldn't be more of a religious what? We would love to really understand what type of woman reads copious notes of self-admitted abuse of kids where Robert E. Mangold's other client, Marty Rathbun, sent said self-admitted PEDO, Robert, to that hole. What did we call it, you guys? The hole on crack. Okay, Robert E. Mangold? So David's hole was the hole where all adults went. We don't give a shred of an F about that hole. We just have had enough of that conversation. But we are going to start talking about the hole on crack, which is, pretty similar circumstances as that hole, except worse because all the self-admitted PEDOs were here. Okay, so that makes it go from 0 to 100 very, very quickly. All right, Robert E. Mangold. So write that on your notes, type it for yourself, and by all means, put your Washington degree, put it to work. Type a pitch that can explain that barbarity and abomination. And if you're still scratching your head because you don't know what in the hell, well, you should really figure out what type of client-attorney relationship you had with these pathological, deranged liars. Because if you think that the minors that this was done to are the ones that are lying, you couldn't be more pathetic. You literally couldn't be. As if you're not being paid a type of retainer that, shouldn't really have us discussing our childhood under these terms. Because, yes, it's up to us now to advocate for our damn selves. Robert E. Mangold.
Takeover to become the leader of the church by a man named David Miscavige, aka Tom Cruise's BFF. Celebrities who once sang its praises were now questioned for their support of such an alleged dangerous organization. And those answers, along with Scientology...
Oh, look at that, you guys. If it isn't little Debbie Cook. And of course, this documentary is just flying through that, showing this and that. But nobody knows who this woman is. Because the corporate media was there to cradle and canoodle her as soon as she left. And all the adults that were very helped when Debbie Cook came to their rescue, advocating for the fact that, kid you literally not, I've already done a video about this, you guys, so go check it out for yourselves. But Debbie Cook typed an email when she ran out of what? $100K that she collected on her way out of the hotel. 4 years later, she goes, let me violate my NDA. And then all of a sudden, she was collecting checks again for herself. And now she's on a monthly payment program now. So she never has to worry about any of all the hundreds, if not thousands of minors that she personally trafficked from other countries and from other states. Right, Debbie Cook? You weren't just a Florida issue. So maybe the Clearwater police is so ineffective, you guys, because they don't have jurisdiction for the type of complex criminal activity this woman was involved in. Because you, Debbie Cook, had every single last minor's passport confiscated. That was your standard operating procedure. So since we don't give a shred of an F who the FSO attorneys are, Robert E. Mango, I'm sure, can start, CCing them about you. CCing them about how much money you're getting paid every month so that more minors can have the same things that you did to us. So that's who this woman is. But of course, this documentary is just giving a quick look.
Defectors would reveal a world more dark than anyone could imagine. This is the story and scandals of Scientology, David Miscavige, the church's golden boy himself, Tom Cruise, and the women left in his wake.
In the previous reporting on the media, the Church of Scientology has challenged the credibility of the people who spoke out against the church and David Miscavige. Well, you know what? That's something that we actually agree with y'all for the very first time. We are also questioning that credibility because you know what? The public record doesn't match the reality of what was done inside of those hotels. Gee, I wonder why, you guys. I wonder why. I wonder what type of, ulterior vested motive interest these executives would have had to lie their asses off to the bank, because that's what's on the public record. Marty Rathbun collecting checks, Angie Blankenship collecting checks, Debbie Cook collects checks. So, yeah, no shit. And as much as these people say, oh, yeah, we're really questioning and challenging that credibility, well, right about now, why in the hell are they on y'all's payroll if their credibility is so questionable? And who else are in y'all's payroll that was also an executive there that, as long as they shut the F up, nothing's going to happen to them. And since y'all have $3 billion of cash at your disposal, just make it rain is what these people do on a weekly basis, monthly basis, as they pay these sums so that all of these executives are, well taken care of, just like they were when they were stuck in that hotel. You guys, that's what it was with these executives. They used minors to purport that they were, modern day slave owners.
Before we begin, a quick word from the sponsor of this video, Delete Me. Let's talk about something creepy: data brokers. Data brokers are corporations that collect huge amounts of personally identifiable information. Things like social security numbers, birthdays, past and recent addresses, and more, and package it all together to sell our personal information to anyone willing to pay, putting us at risk for identity theft or worse. No federal privacy laws for how our data is mined and shared currently exist. And in 2022, the most targeted age group for identity theft were 30 to 39-year-olds. It makes sense when there's so much of our personal information getting shared online without our consent. But trying to remove one's name, age, address, phone number, past addresses, and the names of relatives can be time-consuming and stressful. Instead of spending countless hours finding every website on the internet that contains your private info and submitting requests to get it taken down, get it done in minutes with Delete Me. Delete Me is an amazing service that will not just find and remove your personal information from hundreds of data broker websites, but they'll continuously scan for new data that shows up and get that removed as well. Delete Me searches all the top data broker websites, and on average, they find and remove over 2,000 pieces of personal data for a customer in their first 2 years. To date, they've removed over 100 million pieces of data for their customers. So if you want to get your personal information removed from search results on the web, go to joindeleteme.com/notthegoodgirl. Delete Me is offering 20% off their privacy plans to all my viewers with my code NotTheGoodGirl. Once again, that's joindeleteme.com/notthegoodgirl. Now, back to the video.
I'm sorry, you guys. I put you through that torture on purpose. Okay. We wanted to really keep the sponsor here because imagine the irony of this little sponsor coming here and really offering people the chance to really like delete me, right? Because their data is being mined and all that information is being grabbed by these people. And then they're like going through it and figuring out what they can sell you, what they can do this, what they can do that. Well, imagine that that is exactly what in the hell Scientology is. A data mining operation where they're grabbing all your information, give me, where they have no shred of oversight and they have no responsibility for you as an end user being data mined to, keep any of that information not being used against yourself. So service that is being done on the internet is what Scientology does in real time, calling it a so-called whatever in the hell the pitch is. So I know I had to make you suffer through that because it was painful, but when people have your information, when they're data mining you, there is a level of power dynamic imbalance that if you're not consenting and if you're not aware, you get screwed. So I think this literal advertising made that point. So we had to react to that. So shout out to you for keeping up with that. Cruising into a cult. This is going to be good.
Tom Cruise was born Thomas Cruise Mapother IV on July 3, 1962 in Syracuse, New York to Thomas Cruise Mapother III and Mary Lee Pfeiffer. Tom had 3 sisters, Leanne, Marianne, and Cass. Their mother, Mary Lee, worked as a special education teacher, but due to Tom's father's job as an electrical engineer, the family moved all over the United States and even spent part of their lives in Canada.
Fun fact, you guys, not really that fun. It's actually kind of nauseating right now when I think about it. Tom Cruise's sisters were my students when I was working for Debbie Cook inside of her hotel. So if you think that the adults aren't implicated in getting serviced by minors, there's exhibit, whatever in the hell this exhibit would be, guys, because I literally think we've run out of letters in the alphabet. But just so we can set the record there for everyone, these women were in my course rooms being trained with dolls to interrogate people, to erode all common sense boundaries. Oh yeah, those were the courses I was teaching, you guys. Those were the courses I was giving people. Oh yeah, here, I'm 15 years old, but here's your certificate. Go get a certificate at graduation on Friday and smile and grab your little flowers and tell everyone how exciting it is now that you have the power to do whatever in the hell a minor taught you inside of a hotel for, $5,000, $10,000. So again, you guys, as much as all of you want to come to the rescue of these adults, they are putting their literal money where their mouth is. So I know you all want to come to the rescue. I know you all want to, they're being martyrs at best, but you know what? It's like, you try and get them out. And as adults, they won't listen to anybody but themselves because that's what it's called being an adult. So all of Tom Cruise's family was being trained by not only me, his mother, another fun fact, was a student of my grandmother. My grandmother, who was a Sea Org member under Debbie Cook, I believe for like, I don't know, you guys, it was like, I think like 12 years or 10 years or something like that, who, as y'all know, died of stage 4 breast cancer because no one would send her to a doctor. But so yeah, Tom Cruise and mine situationship definitely crossed paths. I was never his supervisor, but definitely his sister's supervisors were doing courses at the academy. They were fans of the special schedules course room because they didn't want to have a standard schedule. And they also had their little daughters, Jamie, one of them, being trained. So wasn't only just that I was supervising them, I was also supervising the literal underage daughter. And the one of them was married, the dad of one of the family couldn't be more up to their neck and ears in these courses and everything that was going on in these hotels.
But life at home wasn't good. Tom once described his father as a bully and a coward in a 2006 interview with Parade magazine, saying, quote, "It was a great lesson in my life, how he'd lull you in, make you feel safe, and then bang. He was the kind of person where if something goes wrong, they kick you. For me, it was like, there's something wrong with this guy, don't trust him, be careful around him." There's that anxiety.
I mean, imagine. So, okay, so Scientology parents that are very pressed because you're getting called out for being abusive, when we literally have receipts to prove you were abusive, and it's not just our opinion, it's not just because we're real pressed and we should really be moving on. Here's little Tom Cruise calling out his own dad, you guys. So in what world does Tom Cruise not know firsthand what it means to have a deadbeat dad as a dad? In what literal world is that? Because we cannot really understand how he can pitch his dad being such an ogre, and little does he know that really go check in the mirror, Tom, and see if there's no similarities between you and your little daddy. Because your daddy issues, this is giving daddy issues AF. And if you think that Scientology handles daddy issues, Tom, go consult with a real healthcare professional. You would be very well served doing that. And stop buying the pitch about how, oh, they couldn't be more wanting to strap you down, lock you up, and electroshock you. Because you know what? You can think how that was done to kids inside of your hotel. For starters, if you want to project on psychiatry that they strap people against their will, how about y'all strap kids against their will? So make that make sense. While psychiatry, there are selective situationships where people do need medical intervention. I know that y'all don't believe anything because Ron Hubbard told you not to believe that, but you're not a child. So stop being so infantile about, oh, really, I can just believe whatever in the hell. There's some stuff that if you don't want to believe it, nobody cares. It's called stop being infantile and read why in the hell they have those powers. And then go to your publicist and tell your publicist to type a statement so you can sanitize kids being strapped to an e-meter where they cannot move their hands, they cannot move their feet, they cannot say no, don't ask me disgusting questions, they cannot say no, I'm not comfortable with what in the hell you're discussing with me, they cannot complain about it, they cannot leave the room under any circumstances, which sounds a little false imprisonment. That's what it's giving. Okay? It's giving complete false imprisonment. It's giving, why is this being done to kids? As you really want to complain a lot about psychiatry and you really want to have a lot of opinions about something that you clearly don't understand, and apparently you don't even have the intellect to even have a shred of an opinion about it because you're so convinced because you're nothing but a convinced man selling your confidence to everybody.
End quote. Life wasn't any better for Tom at school either. In 12 years, he attended 15 different schools, struggled with dyslexia, and claimed he was bullied regularly. But there was one thing going well for Tom: soccer. With things not going well at home, Mary Lee secretly made the decision to leave Tom's father. She told Tom and his sisters to have their bags packed, hidden, and ready. In 1974, the time finally came when Mary Lee was able to leave, and she moved the children to Louisville, Kentucky. Tom was 12 years old, and by his 13th birthday, his parents were divorced. Mary Lee eventually remarried a man named John South when Tom was 16. John was a World War II vet and a devout Catholic. This rubbed off on young Tom, who eventually enrolled in St. Francis Seminary just outside of Cincinnati and decided he wanted to become a Catholic priest. One of his friends from seminary, Shane Dempler, validated Tom's desire to be part of the ministry. According to Dempler, quote, "He had a very strong Catholic faith. We went to Mass, spent time in the chapel, and enjoyed hearing stories from the priest. We thought the priest had a great lifestyle, and we were really interested in priesthood." End quote. Maybe Tom realized their lifestyle wasn't that exciting because his interest began to fade when he began breaking rules. He would allegedly sneak out to smoke cigarettes and steal liquor from the priest's private rooms.
Damn, you guys, look at that. Look at that. If it isn't Tom Cruise literally committing overts. That's what it's called in Scientology. You break the rule, you committed an overt, you're a disgusting, degraded person, you are horrible, you did something wrong. Why the hell did you do it? Tell us every single time you did it. So Scientology has every type of rule that Tom Cruise broke, including but not limited to, while being there, trying to really be a Catholic, whatever in the hell he says he was trying, you guys. But soon he found out that it wasn't as exciting. The lifestyle wasn't exciting. So I guess little Tom Cruise was just looking for exciting lifestyle that these hotels definitely provided for him. Isn't that great? That you can just, leave a Catholic church and find yourself a much more, good lifestyle in another hotel that really purports to be a church.
And so, Tom's path to priesthood was cut short after getting caught. The priests wrote a letter to Tom's family and said that although they liked him, they would prefer if he didn't return. This departure meant Tom.
Damn, you guys. Imagine the priest telling Tom Cruise, like, he couldn't be more offloaded. That's what in the hell they call it in the Sea Org, you guys. When they got like rid of you, they're like, you cannot be a Sea Org member anymore. Just let's get rid of this person. So imagine that happened to Tom Cruise when he was really trying to be, the altar boy that he never was. Because that's what it's giving right now.
Tom needed to find another purpose in life. So at his new high school in Glen Ridge, New Jersey, he joined the wrestling team and eventually discovered acting when he performed in several plays at Glen Ridge High. Through these high school performances, Tom found his passion. Tom wasn't a fan of his stepfather in the beginning, but eventually grew close to John, saying, quote, "In the beginning, I felt threatened by my stepfather. There's a part of you that's in love with your mother, but John is such a wise, smart man. He loved my mother so much that he took us all in, 4 young people." End quote.
Imagine that, you guys. I mean, a man that takes 4 young kids that another woman has. I mean, if that's not the definition of angelical, I don't know what is. Because Tom was not his kid. And yet he shows up with unconditional love for him. He shows up as a role model of a father figure that should have at least helped his daddy issues. But I guess apparently not. So this is given I had a bad childhood, but I was blessed by the universe and privileged by bringing someone into my life that actually cared about me. And I still ended up at the hotel, subsidizing everything that goes on in those hotels. And yes, I am not allowed to have to put up with an abusive father, but all other kids that end up stuck in those hotels, they're just adults in small bodies. Now that I know that no child can suffer a horrible childhood in those hotels because they're not children. Is that what you're going with, Tom Cruise? Or by all means, have your little publicist type a statement that makes a shred of sense. Because in what world are you supposed to have the daddy that no other Scientology kid has, and then you still end up exactly who you became, who you chose to become, chose and paid to become? You're a paid member of these hotels, Tom Cruise. So don't forget to tell your publicist that you do have a paid membership to those hotels. And we would love to hear from other churches. What other churches require a payment to a membership to be allowed to step foot inside a so-called church that is a converted hotel and that operates as a hotel? So all of y'all that are still confused, y'all go do the research. Y'all go check where these people go get serviced. They don't get service at the churches that y'all go and get serviced at, Sunday service. There is no service like that in here. So make sure that you really check out what type of real estate these people own.
Oh. John is also how Tom got his start in acting, as his stepfather paid for his way to New York to pursue his passion once he graduated high school in 1980. Now 18 years old and determined to become a star, Tom started the first few years of his acting career taking small parts in movies as part of the supporting cast. But casting directors soon believed Tom's charisma and talents were undeniable, and he eventually booked his breakout role in 1983's Risky Business. The film was both a commercial and critical success. The film had a budget of $6.2 million, but grossed more than $63 million. Contrary to popular belief, the iconic dancing scene in Risky Business was not improvised by Tom. The scene was choreographed and rehearsed before filming and directed by Paul Brickman, who came up with the idea of the dancing scene. That scene, however, would become one of Tom's most famous moments of his acting career. In 1985, Tom was working on the set of Top Gun when he was introduced to another actress named Mimi Rogers at a dinner party. Tom was attracted to her, but she was dating one of his friends. That didn't last long, though, as Tom and Mimi hit it off and soon began dating. That following year, Top Gun was released and became the highest grossing US film of 1986.
I'm seeing your guys' comments, embarrassed that I love that. And again, you guys, let's really take ourselves back into that time machine time. What did Hollywood bring to the table, to America? Films. Films that made other people look like they had some sort of superpower to them. Right? Remember, everything in a movie, breaking news, you guys, is acting. Everything in a movie, you guys, is fake AF. Everything you see in a movie, you guys, is positioned so that they can make you have those emotions. And as all America falls in love with these people, these fame people that are built by a very toxic industry that props up narcissism at an unhinged level. This is not art. This is not artistry. This is manipulative seduction. And yes, you end up with people that think that their literal, I can't even say the word, you guys, because let's not even say it, but their literal this doesn't stink. Imagine that. They purport to be so above everything, so elite. And yeah, the whole United States goes goo goo gaga for that. But you know what? I think that we're all finding out that all of that goo goo gaga, don't even blame it on yourself. I mean, did you fall victim to the propaganda? Yeah. Well, welcome to the era of propaganda. That's what it's meant to do, to seduce you, to feel those emotions, to get you to think of that idea. Ron Hubbard does that. Hollywood does that. So there's differences and there's similarities, but to fall, and especially when you think about those times, like in the 1980s, all these movies are coming out with special effects and all this, exciting stuff and everything else. And it's like, yeah, that was used as a cheap magic trick to really prop up these people that were doing very dark things for themselves because they become so delulu that nobody can tell them no. They're very pressed to have everyone in the world say, yes, 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 whatever you want. However unhinged, however illegal, however, whatever, everything will go. We'll have you really protected. We'll have your full back inside of these hotels. And just like that, you see where this horrendous experiment has landed us as we review this thing. And here is the first break that we want to do, you guys. And just because I want to sparse out this content, because I think that there's so much. Right now, we just discussed like the beginning of Tom Cruise's life. Juxtaposed with Scientology and juxtaposed with, the false pitches of L. Ron Hubbard. So far, let's just take a little breather and so far, credit when credit is due, you guys. In terms of the landscape of the corporate media, this documentary is turning out to be actually very well narrated, very well contextualizing. There's so much to the story of Scientology and all of that, but so far we're getting a pretty clear picture of a sequence. And I think it is important in this conversation of Scientology to discuss their main endorser. There is no bigger endorser than Tom Cruise. There is no bigger celebrity than Tom M.F. Cruise. There just isn't. In those hotels, no one is bigger than Tom Cruise. And we have photo, video, evidence, and receipts of Tom and Davey being besties and being all about each other and la, 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 la. So all of that is very great for us to start understanding and to start really contextualizing because, again, we are questioning celebrities' involvement. We are questioning that, and we are allowed to question that. So Tom Cruise's PR people, as if they're even going to care, you guys, because they're just going to go swatting our content like it's nothing, and that's fine. Swat it away, publicists. But we are setting the record straight, and you're being invited to think of creative ways y'all can really type up for yourselves the legacy of the man that you tell America could not be more incredible and amazing. Because again, you guys, we're talking about PR machines. So let's do a little BTS, behind the scenes of Hollywood. Who are the who's and the whys? The publicists. Who are the ones that control the corporate media with, you can only talk to him if you don't ask him this. And if you don't publish him, then we won't give you access to these other ones. So all of that dark brokering of power, all of that brokering of attention, because that's all that fame is, right? It's a delusional, non-human, complete BS power that people really do get, and that Hollywood is all about, that's like literally their stock and trade, popularity. That's what they sell. Let's make this one popular. Let's prop up this one. Let's have an echelon here. Oh, these ones are the Oscar ones. Very Scientology. Oh, these ones are the top patrons. So Hollywood does the same thing. Oh, here's your certificate. You're so special. You're so above others. Here you go. You know, all the woke celebrities of Hollywood. And you guys, we really have to do a lot for humanity. Here's my Oscar. I really do care. Let's make the world a better place. But are they making the world a better place as they have inflated their networks beyond a capacity for them to ever spend that money? And fine, we don't give a shred of an F that you have a lot of money, but don't also try to sell yourselves as the saviors of the world, very a la Scientology. We're really going to save everybody. Look at us. We couldn't be more wanting to really influence a lot of people, because who have y'all influenced is what we're questioning here. And this question mostly goes to the Scientology celebrities, you guys, but it also expands into Hollywood, because Hollywood also gave us Harvey Weinstein. And imagine that Harvey Weinstein was the only one, you guys, that did this shit. Really? Just Harvey Weinstein. No one else? I mean, no one else of name and stature? Les Mundus? CBS? How many more of these corporations corporating, masquerading, NDAing, fair gaming exist? How many? Do y'all think that it's only a few, or the very few that the corporate media really pats on their back? Oh, we did such a great job with Me Too movement, you guys. We did such a great job with the Me Too movement. How much money did the corporate media do for jumping on the story when it was convenient for them to? Okay, let's all just go with that. Okay, yeah, let's do the Me Too. Sure. Me Too, you guys. We really care. America cares. America cares. New York Times. America cares. New Yorker magazine. America cares. Yes, yes, we really do care. Oh my God, we haven't cared any more ever. And we had Rose McGowan having to go through literal hell. I mean, as if you haven't seen what the woman's been put through, you guys. If it isn't obvious to anybody, then y'all need some real glasses to put on and see. So all of these power brokers, the publicists of these people who are all in and finding the dirt, and very a la Scientologists, oh, we know all this dirt. Well, let's hide it for you. Let nobody know. Let's go like this. Pitch it like that. Let's get you perceived like that. Let's really launder your image. Ashton Kutcher, just shut the F up for now. That's, in 5 years, nobody will care. You'll go back to really wanting to save the children because I'm Ashton Kutcher and I really want to go to Congress and I really want to get money from Congress because I'm an actor. I really care about kids. I really go on the record and tell everyone with crocodile tears that it was so horrible to be watching stuff that, why would in the world do you need to watch, Ashton, for example? Why would you ever need to watch something disgusting? Literally, by all means, put it on the public record. Your shell 501c that's still somehow floating, because guys, nothing like just changing leadership and then all of a sudden the corruption disappears. Really? I mean, how idiotic and gullible does everyone think we are? Oh, it just disappears all by itself. Oh, Ashton is over there, having a jolly old time in his little millionaire mansion, where it doesn't make a shred of sense that the bestie of a man that's convicted for serial, you know exactly what in the hell we mean. How many Jane Does But yeah, sure, Ashton, the one that went to Celebrity Center, the one that saw minors there, the one that had all manner of minor girls, you guys. As if Scientology didn't deploy gorgeous little underage girls to be at every Danny's party that was being had. And again, y'all want to ask why no one saw a shred of this? Let me just color it. Why didn't anyone see a shred of red flag, you guys? Could it possibly be that Scientology purports that kids are adults? So that's how this red flag just becomes not a red flag, because all of a sudden you're 16, but you're an adult because you're 16 and you're a Thetan, you're an ageless spirit, and all of a sudden, yay, ageless spirit. So all manner of little girls, that wanted to make it in Hollywood, that were on Celebrity Center lines, that were going to a lot of auditions all over Hollywood, that were getting, a lot of help from little old Carol Masterson. I mean, all the Scientology, underage girls wanted to, I want Carol to be my manager. If she could only get me a good audition, I could really make it here in Hollywood. And yeah, everyone in Scientology, you guys, all these kids are looking at who? Elizabeth Moss, Tom Cruise, John Travolta, all these people, because in the hotel, there's nothing more OT than being famous. There's nothing more OT than climbing up that ladder and having status that, then Scientology leverages. Oh, so you can get us an appointment with this person? Huh. You're going to have a million slaves at your disposal. We're all going to do your bidding. We're all going to help you. We're all going to hook you up. And again, check out Lance Bass, who did get taken to these hotels, who is on the public record stating that he did do a so-called marriage co-audit because he was having relationship problems. And there you go again, you guys, Lance Bass, where, LGBTQ people were treated like literal dirt, and Scientology will shut their eyes off as long as they could lure him in. So, they're gay? Oh, we couldn't be more gay friendly here. Sure, come to do a Tootie co-audit, 2 men in a Tootie co-audit? Are you MF kidding me? That's not normal. That's not normal at all. But you know what? The introductory services, just do that service. Let's just do it. And we're going to just love bomb you and really want to help you and really sit down and listen to you. Remember, he's still paying. Or maybe they hook them up. Who knows? Maybe for celebrities, they do give them the special treatment. Because again, as long as they can put them in their stable of talent that they can leverage, so they can really call, hi, TikTok. Hi, it's Susan Watson from the president's office at Celebrity Center. Yeah, you know what? TikTok is really like Jessica Palmadessa and, Streets LA are, really not the people that we want to be speaking about our situationship. And you wouldn't want to lose any support for the stable of clients that we do have for ourselves here, right? TikTok, LA office and leadership of TikTok. Right, exactly. They're just bigots. They're just bigots. They're really off the rails. They really are horrific people. They have nothing to do better with their time than to harass us. Imagine that, you guys. The people who pay, not volunteers that want to exercise a First Amendment, who pay PIs, disgusting PIs with disgusting backgrounds, disgusting lowlives that will run around in a van full of armed weapons as if they weren't following David's own father with white vans, including but not limited to having been found with silencers and guns and everything else. But you know what? We've all moved on from that. Who in the F cares about that little incident? It's already so far back in the past that nobody gives a shred of an F about that. But it does really go to show that the people inside of those hotels, LAPD, that keep calling you about GUNs and BOMB threats, as if anybody gives an F about that. If any of us want to what? Projection is what it's called, Scientology. Projection. That's what y'all do. That's what's on the public record. Y'all did that to Paulette Cooper. Literally fake fingerprints. Oh yeah, look FBI, look what we found. Y'all have been setting it up. That's y'all's tactics to do that, to harm people, to have pets show up unalived. Who? I mean, you guys don't even get me started on that. Let me not even digress, because you know what? Cannot even think about that. Cannot even think about anybody harming your pet. And imagine these people harm their children, not even their pets, like literally a step below that. Like these parents, Tom Cruise himself, as this is not the deadbeat dad of Suri Cruise, who's nowhere to be found in his life because, you know, Katie Holmes did make a run for herself. She did do that. But did Katie Holmes leave with any other kids? What is the answer to that question, chat? Did Katie Holmes advocate for a shred of kid inside of those hotels, or no? Cannot find a single mention of Katie Holmes advocating for any kids. And yeah, y'all might say, well, you know, she signed an NDA that, okay, but NDAs don't protect anyone from talking about disgusting, felonious behavior. In our humble opinion, Katie Holmes, that's what we would classify it. But you know what? Don't take our word for it, Katie, because your daddy is a lawyer. So you might not have a better idea of what felonious behavior could be. You would have a much better understanding of that. Our 7th grade education makes us, you know, Google stuff and then see, oh, false imprisonment in the audits because we couldn't leave, because we were being held against our will, because it was being recorded, because RTC was saying, don't let them blow the session, don't let them leave the session, continue interrogating that kid. So we're going to go there as well. Okay, you guys. So really quickly, we're going to go and see if there's some super chats here. Thank you so much, V. Sending lots of love from Montana. Oh, that's nice. A lot of forest and sierras over there, and probably chilly. You are also wonderful for what you do, and you have literally shut them down. Very true, V. Very good point. We have. We're not done yet because the 21 and under are still stuck in there, but at least we have, you know, giving them a run for their money, because now all of a sudden, under this level of scrutiny, they've decided that, you know, the practices that they used to do willy-nilly in the street, everybody saw it for years. Nobody had a shred of problem until, you know, LA streets did do a First Amendment audit that he didn't even intend to do against them. And then the LAPD showed their, you know, shady AF behavior that, again, you guys, I didn't think this was a police story that we were going to be covering, that we were going to be talking about. You would think that the police couldn't be more clueless about what happens in the hotels, because maybe they were just, you know, dumbfounded by the amount of fruit baskets the OSA office sent to them all the time. Oh, here's your little fruit basket from David's, whatever fruits, you guys. I would love to give those fruits to everybody. That was one of their go-tos. So let's bring that. Monique Yingling showing up with muffins to press interviews. Them going to Italy to have something really baked, very special, because, as soon as you give somebody some baked goods and fruits, it couldn't be that they're also trafficking kids. So, but yet the facts are what they are, and we are seeing and recording what in the hell we're seeing and recording. So that's for that. And this is from Harley, a super sticker. Thank you so much, Harley, for that. Let's see. I don't think Tom is aware of all that goes on. He has had Scientology positioned individuals around him for so long that they keep him away from stuff. I know Ken Cole 19, and unfortunately, that's not how reality works. It's not how reality works, because the policies of Ron Hubbard are crystal clear. So in what world can Tom Cruise claim that he doesn't know that kids are exposed to audits? Kids are exposed to ethics handlings, and kids are exposed to courses, as if he's not in on endorsing that for his own kids. So I know that y'all are huge fans, and I know that it sucks to understand that, yeah, even your biggest fans that you've been told by the corporate media couldn't be the most amazing or whatever. It's all fake. I mean, it's called acting for a reason, you guys. I mean, it's literally called acting. They're supposed to convince you of the people that they are, not on its merit, not on the facts, but on the perception. And they have professional publicists thinking every single day of the week, every single second of the hour, that they're getting paid a lot of cash. They're top publicists we're talking about, and they're not just idiots that just work for just anyone willy-nilly. They're people that are willing to put their entire legacy behind propping up these level of people. These level of people that are on the public record of exposing their kids to these hotels. I mean, as if we don't have it from Marty Rathbun in his own words, you guys. Another one of your clients, Robert E. Mangle, or your ex-clients back in the day when Marty Rathbun was an RTC rep, unhinged Deputy Inspector General of Ethics, being given access to Bella and Connor as underage minors. So by all means, you guys tell me how that does not implicate a parent in what is being done, because that don't make sense. That literally don't make sense. Agree, Ree Ashton. Some things you cannot unsee. I never would have looked. Correct. I mean, just tell me, understanding the horrendous power dynamics that exist, you guys, should literally be enough. It's like, okay, so they're doing that. Okay, thank you. Miss me with the MF details. And if you're going to really do something to stop it, then just work on stopping it. Anyone with a common sense would be like, yeah, let's stop it. I don't need to see it. Why? What? Are you not driven to do something about it until you see it? Or how does it work, Ashton? Because that would be really great for you to tell your publicist to type for yourself and to really get your 501c, another one of these 501cs, you guys, that multi-million 501cs to really end trafficking. But the trafficking that happens in Ashton's buddy's hotel, ooh, that doesn't count, because it was a luxury hotel. And they have luxury, lawyers? I mean, the lawyers never came to the hotels, you guys. So whatever type of client-attorney relationship those lawyers had, I don't know. Lily, cancel Scientology's tax exemption. Absolutely. Shut it off. Like, literally, it is not a 501c worth having, because any 501c that is actively being run on the backs of minors should be questioned by the FBI, should be questioned by the LAPD, should be questioned by the own parents that are sending their kids to be enslaved so that they can get their little tax break. I mean, imagine that the Scientology parents take a little tax break and take a little, income puffed up because their minors all of a sudden are property of, in my case, Debbie Cook. That's who I was property of. I was Debbie Cook's slave, bottom of the line slave, you guys. Not like Bianca that was interviewed by Kelly, who had to work under Debbie Cook for 4 years. And, she still hasn't even recovered for how disgusting Debbie Cook treated her. And as Debbie Cook collects checks, Bianca has to make sense of her past and figure out what in the hell, like we couldn't be more confused about the level of betrayal blindness that we are left with, because our brains have been protecting us, you guys. Our brains literally don't allow you to see certain things because it's a level of disassociation you have to have as a fawn to be able to even be there in an environment that's that toxic. And that's why we're calling it all out, so that no more minors are exposed to that BS. They do want the elderly to drop their bodies so they don't have to deal with them anymore. They don't want them getting out because they can tell all about the abuse they endure. Yeah, Jojo. And, unfortunately for me, you guys, and I'll share this with y'all, since I've been going to watch the motherships that are filled with a lot of old people that leave very late at night, as Jessica's asking, like, why do you have people walking out of this building at 2 a.m.? So, yes, it sucks for the elderly people, but it must be understood that the elderly people have been there the most. They've mostly been there for decades. And again, it's like, you cannot be part of Scientology and be a saint. You cannot be part of Scientology and claim that you have plausible deniability where you were nothing bad happened. I mean, I would love for senior members that have escaped to tell us, in what division were you where you didn't see children being exposed to abuse? Because, even if you were a letter registrar that just typed letters in your own little tiny cubicle and you just did that all day and you just didn't do anything else other than type, then they would come to the staff meeting, guys. And then they would get told all the horrible things that happened in the entire hotel that week. Thursday, every week they have a meeting. Every week they discuss, you guys, flaps and handlings. This minor had an out 2D with that one. And out 2D means when they have sex. Because again, the whole pitch is, we're so puritanical here that everyone does everything great. And when they don't do it, then we just like, out it out or whatever. And all of a sudden they couldn't be more ethical because they told everyone at the hotel what happened. And that's them purporting that they're ethical. I mean, imagine the literal stupidity of that, you guys. Search in Katie's home. I don't think that's cool because we're not in her shoes and she was thinking about her daughter. Sure, Ken Cole, but we can all have, again, you guys, the First Amendment is you can have your opinion and you all can have y'all's opinion. So I'm allowed to opine that a woman that was given as much access, and I would know, I'm not talking from not knowing, I'm not talking from being one of the corporate media reporters that was outside of the hotel that has no shred of a clue what in the hell is going on and therefore doesn't have the ability to have an informed opinion about a statement they're going to make. So yes, Katie Holmes is implicated. Yes, Sandra Gill, my own mother, is implicated. Yes, any mother or father or parent that has subjected their child to get locked up against their will inside of a hotel, to have their child's passport locked up by executives wearing a fake military uniform, should be very concerned and should have to answer up to something. In what world were the kids being abused by the adults have to now stand back, just relax and don't judge her because you know what? You're not in her shoes. Well, you know what? They're not in our shoes either. So how about that? Why are all adults cradled and canoodled? Why? Where is that energy and where is that defense for defenseless minors that are stuck there? Because again, just because y'all develop a certain type of endearment to adults that signed up to be part of this, yes, they got scammed. Yes, they can have lawyers and publicists help them with their pitch so that they can also tell their story and advocate for them, because you know what? They also got scammed. Sure, you all got scammed, but what about the kids? What about the kids? That's all. Katie at least didn't turn her daughter over to the COS and we can give her that. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, you guys. I mean, two things can be true at once. I'm happy, delighted that one child got saved. Yes, 100%. But what type of platform would Katie Holmes have if she, took it up on herself to have lives where she was advocating for kids stuck in those hotels? Why is it that there's only minors that were abused inside of these hotels going out, as if we didn't just have growing up in Scientology, literally growing up in Scientology, arrested, abused, physically assaulted? But sure, Katie Holmes, like you live it up with the New York elite. Live it up. You don't owe anyone nothing except you were there. Except you were there too. So you guys, this is facts. There's no mother that's here and then these mothers are not, and then these ones are yes, and then these ones are not, and then these ones are good, and then Ron Hubbard didn't want that for any mother that adopted his rhetoric. Ron Hubbard wanted all mothers implicated, all mothers just unhinged, approving of the culture, and nowhere to be found on the public record as of this year, 2024, to repudiate it at least. And they did learn so-called ethics inside of those hotels. You guys imagine that they did teach them that. Be ethical, use responsibility, write it all down on a piece of paper for any crimes that you may have witnessed, And when they were turning on those write-ups to children, including but not limited to, there were ethics officers inside of that hotel, they could spend 3 days just writing, oh, this happened, oh, that happened, oh, there was this crime here, there was that crime there. And then, as long as they turned it into the child, they read what crimes they were aware of, then it all got washed up. So where's that level of so-called, we're going to really know how to get the ethics in on the planet when they won't go to the FBI? Imagine the FBI having Katie Holmes as a witness. No one's asking her to say that she did it. Was any of this her idea? No. She was taken along for a ride. We're going to give her that. Those are the facts. She was taken along for a ride, but she did good to OT7. So again, learn what Scientology is. Learn what the status is. Learn how much of you would have had to put in to be allowed to get to that. Because Katie Holmes didn't just do a quick course and then ran out. I mean, that was the case. And yeah, okay, maybe like she really just saw a couple things that were weird and she never saw anything else again. But no, the celebrities get given access to everything. And these celebrities, that Katie Holmes literally having an attorney of a dad that said, no, you need to get out. This is not okay. Has left all kids there. That's a fact. Is it her job? No. But can we want to have accountability for all Hollywood elites that just left all the kids behind? Tell us that we don't have that right to want that accountability. All I have is my voice, and all I have is being able to raise that point. That's it. What else am I saying? I'm not saying I'm going to go find her and handcuff her. I don't have that right. I don't have that power. Not incriminating any. That's up to the courts. The courts will decide. If the courts don't want to decide that anything is important or relevant, what do I have? Nothing. Nothing that I say here is going to make a shred of difference, because I don't have that power. But I do have the power to ask the questions. I do have the power to contextualize things that, in this year 2024 don't make sense. And again, why are TikTok kids in the streets until 2 a.m. recording what's these people were part of the hotel? They got an inside. They didn't sit outside like the TikTok kids watching all the things that don't make sense. So again, the enablers are not the victims. So fine, if you all want to come to the rescue, again, everyone is in their right to advocate for whoever. But, in my experience, no. My experience, Katie Holmes, Nicole, all mothers that expose their kids to this, that haven't done a shred of repudiation on the public record, that haven't lifted a finger. Because apparently just walking out of those thresholds of those hotels immunized them because, I guess their needle floated when it was inconvenient for them to be part of that culture. I guess their needle did float. So great that Katie left with the daughter. Not great that Nicole left her 2 kids in there. So either way, it's like Nicole didn't take him out. Nicole left him there. And then she went on a press tour and said that, if their kid was gay or if the kid was a Scientologist, then who is she to not want to love their kid unconditionally? And, that pitch right there from Nicole literally made me nauseous. So again, you guys, it's all implicated. It's all people that, have had skin in the game, in a game they should have never, ever, ever had. That's our own opinion, in our own humble opinion. One Love 510 questions. In Tom Cruise is so self-absorbed and entitled. What do you think would have to happen to separate from Scientology? Well, for starters, you guys, the racketeering charges, where are they? Where are the racketeering charges of systemic institutionalized child trafficking? As if literally this woman right here wasn't trafficked to Ron Hubbard as a 12-year-old to a ship. So yes, Shelly Miscavige couldn't have been more groomed to be a trafficker herself, to grow up and be a full-blown trafficker. But, everybody wanted to go to Jeffrey and Jelaine's little dinner parties until, oh no, yeah, trafficking of kids is bad. Okay, let's leave, but leave it to Bill Clinton, who didn't want to leave even after, Jeffrey got, the little conviction of, yes, prostitute, a minor, being with a prostitute minor or something. It was his charge or whatever. Like, the law enforcement in Florida is a disgrace, you guys. In what world is a child a prostitute? The literal charge couldn't have been more sanitized, disgusting, and an abomination in it of itself. But, the Miami Herald, shout out to them, did call it out as a perversion of justice. And when they called it out like that, the FBI couldn't play dumb anymore. And everyone else couldn't play dumb anymore. And Alex Acosta, the corrupt attorney that played dumb because he was told to stand back, he's an intelligence asset. Well, who in the hell is telling who to stand back for what intelligence type of operation is being done inside of those hotels? Because that's what we need to understand right about now. That is literally what we need to understand right about now, because it don't make sense whatsoever. Serge, did you hear about the amplified dog whistle speaker outside of CC tonight? No, not yet, you guys. I've been here. I imagine that's Chris without a Hellcat that's there, giving them, raining hell on them. It's like, it's work that you got to do, and you got to do all the way. Ashley Thompson. Hi, Ashley. Oh, my God, thank you, Ashley. Found you through BJ. I watched the series Leah had, and it made me angry. What I have heard in the past few days from you makes me furious. How are so many adults turning a blind eye and not getting these children out? Well, thank you, Ashley, because That is what we're asking. That is what we're asking. It is the year 2024. Where are the adults carrying their own weight? Where are the adults denouncing what they know firsthand they were a part of? Where are they? Like, like you said, Leah's show was how many years back? How can it be that there is not a single shred of guardrail instituted to protect more kids to end up in the exact situationship that we ended up as kids there? And we cannot in any way force adults out of a toxic relationship. That's not how people get rescued from toxic relationships. That's not how people get rescued from self-destructing themselves when they're, drug addicts or alcoholics or whatever else type of bad coping mechanism an adult can have for themselves. So I couldn't agree with you more. And thank you for, coming here from BJ, and thank you for your generosity. We highly appreciate your support. And, this is the oxygen that is giving us asking these questions, because we are asking them, and we are also holding those adults that were part of this culture to step it the F up and stop playing the victim. Y'all are not the victim. Y'all might be a victim, but y'all are not the victim. Your child was the victim. The one who couldn't consent is the victim. And once y'all help those, which is what I really feel that you're saying here, Ashley, and I couldn't agree with you more, once you help every single last kid, and we did catch 2 of them the other day when we went to the blue building audit, 2 kids, one of them running from one door to the other, told us he was going to course. You guys, the kid couldn't have been more than 11 years old. So the problem is alive and well, because it hasn't been called out, because it hasn't been confronted by every last adult that wants to pretend that they are very goo-goo gaga and that they are the kids, and that everyone should just give them a blank floating needle. I mean, what other word can it be used for that? It's like they just expect to have a floating needle when they walked out of those thresholds. They get to have selective amnesia. They get to, curate their narrative and curate what type of details they really want to share with the public. And we are asking ourselves, in what world, what type of drug are y'all taking so you could be so disassociated, so you're not nauseated and disgusted with yourselves? Because all we get is attacked. Oh, let the adults, you're not in their shoes. We're not in their shoes. We're in the shoes of kids that got scammed since birth. Kids that got groomed by our own parents to take the abuse. Without our parents grooming in the words to us, you cannot have what they do in those hotels. You guys, no child can just go from grabbing them off of a school and then shoving them inside a hotel. They would end up with child services. They probably would go crazy. The next day they would go to school. The teacher would be like, what the hell went on if you just grab a kid from nothing and shove him in a room like that? It's all gradually done, step by step. They teach you the word. They figure out, okay, let's do this audit. Let's do this session. Let's give it a little kitty. And then, oh, well, you're now getting to 12 and now you're in puberty. And some gross, disgusting woman or man wants to ask, well, are you masturbating? Are you doing anything like that? Tell us. Let me write it down. And they're nauseous that all of this is being asked of you. And that's what's being literally called out. So if anybody wants to defend Katie and everyone wants to defend all those adults, do it with the facts. And by all means, if the facts are the facts, and you really can come up with a way that, in what world is abusing children a religious experience? Because you know what? We are here having lived to tell to say, no, wasn't a religious experience for us. BJ is amazing. Thank you. Love is the law. Yeah, BJ's amazing, you guys, because, it takes a hammer and a nail, and it takes some curiosity, and it takes some banging, and then it takes grabbing a receipt, and it takes contextualizing the exact receipt. Like, I can only speak from my vantage point and from my experience. And those are the questions I have today as a person that is allowed to ask questions, even though these people told me that I wasn't, even though I was told that I had an NDA when I left those hotels, that I was, I think, bonded for millions of dollars. I mean, imagine I had no understanding of anything about the law, you guys. And apparently I must have also signed that I wanted to really do a religious arbitration because, all of that abuse and trafficking that was done on my formative years was my idea. And I brought this on to myself. I enslaved myself. I chose it. Is what my parents are sitting out there going with. So let's just put that so clear for everyone. I was made to sign a contract at 15 years old. Laura, also. Jenna Miscavige, the same. So, yeah. All kinds of kids end up there with all kinds of parents being complicit in a conspiracy. In what world are other parents taking kids to hotels and having them locked up and having random adults have and spend intimate private time with their kids? FBI, please enlighten us. Please do enlighten us. You, Ashton Kutcher, that has seen it all and is so worried about trafficking, please instruct us. Because I don't even know of another hotel where the parents are implicated at this level of scale. Literally, from what I've seen, can't find one that is the same. The only other operation that I can even remotely have a parallel, because it's also ridiculous and disgusting, is Ghislaine and Jeffrey, who were collecting blackmail, Scientology, and utilizing underage kids that they did pay $200 to do massages. We never got paid. Our worth was nothing. Our worth was do it, make us the money. Here's your $100,000 quota. By all means, Debbie Cook, explain to the world why you were giving minors quotas. You $25,000 BSD this week. You $150,000 BSD this week. Value of service delivered, you guys. So the people that were the adults, because I don't really remember minors being the ones that actually grabbed the cash and run the credit cards. Those mostly were adults, but there were some assistants that were minors, that were like in that age bracket. And then, throughout when I was there, they would grow up. But the delivery of the so-called services was provided by minors. So by all means, Scientology parents, get on the public record already and explain and defend. Linda, Leah wrote about what she went through. We should have been outraged then. I missed that point. Never knew about the kids till surge. Yeah, Linda, I mean, everybody had a different Scientology upbringing. Leah also was brought in as a child, also was in the Sea Org, but when she was going to be sent to Debbie Cook's hole on crack, the one that we talked about earlier, her mom did come to the rescue and did take her out so that she wouldn't end up there. So she was lucky. And then, she moved here to California. Then she got hooked up with Celebrity Center, and then Celebrity Center, took advantage of her. Once she did book a show, she was trash before that. She was literal trash, because that's how Scientology labeled all of us that broke the billion-year contracts. It didn't matter if you were a child. You were a child, you broke that contract, that's on you. You owe us money, you owe us conditions, you owe us amends, you owe us, you owe us, you owe us. So Leah Remini left that situationship for herself, owing them all manner of stuff, coming to LA and hustling and getting herself on a show, which at the time in Scientology, there was nothing more OT you could do. So then she made all this money in the show. She donated all that money to Scientology, and she was an adult. She was an adult doing that. And she was, helped by Celebrity Center to book shows and what do you need and how do we come through for you? And all that free service by Sea Org members that are including but not limited to minors. So that's the fact. That's the fact. Joe, shout out to Joe, our wonderful moderator, and all of our moderators tonight keeping this chat alive, you guys. It is illegal for parents to abandon their children. It's also legal for neglecting your children, but it seems it's done with religiosity. It's cool. I mean, that's the point, you guys. It's like the neglect is unfounded, unthinkable, indefensible, and prevalent AF. It's systemic. It's every single childhood that is exposed to the scourge of the policies of Ron Hubbard ends up getting destroyed. No one is left, with a great childhood, as much as people might want to be like, yeah, I had a wonderful childhood. I mean, okay, well, great. Some of us didn't. Some of us found out later that we didn't have the childhood we were pitched we were having. When we were there, you guys, yes, the cognitive dissonance, and again, our brain was protecting us from the truth. The betrayal trauma was real. When you're 16, you cannot think that your parents knowingly put you in harm's way. It's just not a concept that a child can really carry for themselves. Like, if it did what it did to me when I was ready to leave, had my own money, had my own agency, didn't need a shred of a thing from nobody finally. Imagine, like, I was like literally on the verge of just and I had it all, right? I had it all. I didn't need my parents anymore. I was grown enough. I was making my own decisions. I had my own life. I had my own money. I worked for that because that was the survival mechanism, you guys. I thought, okay, as soon as I have money, then I'm going to be okay. And as soon as I had money, I crashed. Everything went to literal shit. Because as soon as I had that, I had time. And as soon as I had time, everything that was normalized in my childhood started not adding up. And yes, as crazy as it sounds for the idiots at the Clearwater Police and all these law enforcement units that purport that, victims of this type of disgusting abuse really just connect dots real quick and check out, oh my God, my statute of limitations is about to expire. Let me really rush out to get some justice before they expire because, I've just been waiting to be abused my whole life so that I can really come out and get some help and get some justice for myself, because we were aware of what? We were aware of nothing. Scientology kept us in arrested development. So you can answer up that question, Robert E. Mangle. Why were we kept in arrested development being fed L. Ron Hubbard 24/7 that didn't give us a shred of capability to know or advocate for ourselves? Because your BS religious arbitration that doesn't exist, that you're being allowed to with a full straight face purport it does, you have not read the client that you represent, Robert E. Mangle. And that's very, very concerning, since you are supposed to be upholding a law license where you're not supposed to be lying to the court in any way, shape, or form. You have a duty to not lie. So by all means, explain to us who did study L. Ron Hubbard since we were 12. Explain it to us. We know the policies. Do you? Or are you just being told? Because it's giving, I'm being told this, I'm being told that, and you're not making your own arguments because you are just literally deluded based on what we here so far. It's coming out of your mouth. With RTC, with Shelly Miscavige, your literal client here, Robert E. Mangle. So take a look at her and go have a little chat with Shelly and really like actually, make her appear. Use your superpowers as the attorney of RTC to make Shelly appear. And this time at the FBI Crimes Against Children unit so she can have a little chat, so she can have her ethics put in and not inside a hotel where it doesn't count, Robert. You should know that. Because if you think a convicted, indicted felon, L. Ron Hubbard, that is your client, supersedes all of what you studied in law school, make it quickly make sense. Just quickly type something so we really can come off of this. Your voice and opinion do matter, and it does make a difference. I don't think all should be judged as harsh because we know how vindictive the organization can be. Yeah, but again, you guys, we've dealt with these people our whole lives. We were scared when we were minors. We were scared when we had no contacts at the FBI, no contacts at the DHS, no contacts in any law enforcement agency, no contacts to any lawyers, no understanding of any shred of law, no capacity to defend ourselves, no space where we were safe. Then we were scared. Today, we're not scared. We have the facts on our side, and we have literally a situation that we would know firsthand is still happening right now. So by all means, whitewash it away. It might not be very comfortable. My chats are not comfortable, y'all. And I just not here to make anything comfortable. If you don't like it, if I'm too judgy and harsh and whatever, that's fine. That's my opinion, my personal opinion. You can also advocate for all of the adults. That's on y'all. Everyone has a First Amendment. Like, my opinion doesn't supersede anyone else's opinion. You're allowed to have yours. I'm allowed to have mine. I'm allowed to say what I want to say. You're allowed to say whatever you want to say. I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. Let's just make that very, very clear for the people that are still trying to be like, sound like this, sound like that, maybe just talk about it like this or talk about it like that. It's like, we're not here to take notes on how to speak. We don't need those notes. We got enough of those notes in our childhood where it was illegal to say anything critical. So sorry, not sorry. Like, we will advocate for those kids in the way we needed to be advocated for when we were stuck inside of the hotels. And whatever adult made the choice to be part of these hotels and is nowhere on the public record to repudiate anything, that's called they haven't made a shred of ethics change. That's called they're still being guided by convenience and not by a shred of integrity. And you know what? No one would have to be making these points if they were turning themselves in, if they were actually practicing what they were preaching in the hotels to kids. You guys, transparency is so important. You really need to clean y'all's hands. Otherwise, you're not going to have a happy life. So with what kind of straight face can any adults that were implicated on this, that have not shown a single receipt of they turning an affidavit of everything that they saw and witnessed inside of those hotels done to kids? Why? Because I guess it didn't really bother them. Because, okay, oh well, shit happens. Better luck next lifetime. And you know what? We're not here for that. We're not here to waste our time for the rest of our lives. We made it so super clear so that no one could play dumb or anything else like that. 21 and under who cannot even consent to go and get drunk. Let me get drunk at 17, illegal. Let me get drunk at 19, illegal. Let me go into a bar at 20, illegal. Let me go into a Scientology hotel at 11, legal. Come in, come in, come in, come in, come in. Oh, here's an adult that wants to do this to you. Here's another adult that wants to do this to you. And all of the adults together as an agreement, as a group agreement, is what normalized this. So again, it sucks to be in a cult. And that's why, you know, yeah, we joke around every day. It's a great day not to be in a cult. Yeah, every day is a good way not to be implicated in systemic institutionalized child trafficking. Period. Martha, question search. Where literally are the kids located? I want to audit that place. They're in every organization, you guys. They're in every single last organization of Scientology. You know, and literally in Clearwater, Aaron, when he was doing the audit, when they were doing this like meeting at this location that is sort of like the happiness something or the community something, like one of those sham shell things that they use to, you know, talk to people and get them to want to do more courses and whatever, the kids are there. So anyone who becomes a Scientology parent, remember, they agree that grooming their kids is a favor that they're doing for their kid. Well, that little favor that Scientology parents are pitching to themselves is being questioned in this year 2024. Up to now, yes, sure, nobody has questioned it. Everybody's been okay with it. Everybody's giving them the full benefit of the doubt. Oh yeah, we can't judge you because we're not in your shoes. We don't know how Scientology works. Well, y'all, the books are there. Go read them. Go familiarize yourselves with the policies. So when you say something, you can go, oh, for this policy, it was this. For that policy, it was that. And for this other policy, it was this. So that's what we're questioning here. The policies that dictated abusive practices could be practiced on minors. And in what world are none of those practices repudiated by any parent that subjected their kids to that? If you have an answer to that, by all means, make it make sense. So, Martha, they are everywhere. They're in courtrooms. They're in audits. They're in ethics. They're in Scientology schools being exposed to courses, audits, ethics. No kid is not getting exposed to this because all Scientology parents get told, expose your child to this. And all Scientology parents go drive by 100 million red flags that should literally be common sense, that should literally be like, gee, false imprisonment, really? Can a child really consent to that? Because an adult can. I know it's breaking news for all of you, but these adults got off on being humiliated. They got off on being controlled. They got off on being financially dominated. They got off on all of that. It's in their own handwriting. Y'all can read success stories of these adults. My God, I gained so much. My God, it's so incredible. My God, it's unbelievable. And yes, they leave the hotel having consented to all of that. And they're just a little, you know, it was inconvenient to be part of that, but they're not that pressed. And their public record shows that. It's not my opinion. You all show me where these adults can be found, you know, being pressed about what in the hell they did. Because, you know, right now it's just how to darvo us, DARVO, to really see if they can still drive us crazy by denying the facts. And yes, I don't blame them from wanting to deny the facts. Because, you know, the master and commander they all worshipped, Ron Hubbard, convicted, indicted felon that he was. I mean, you guys can go talk to the Charles Manson people that weren't even in their 40s, that were even young, impressionable, naive, you know, sort of underage-ish, 20-ish, 23-ish, just like we were, as if these predators don't sink their claws on malleable, gullible victims. I mean, again, you guys, like, stop being so naive. Literally, like, raise your confront of evil is what they would tell you in the hotel. Because, you know, wanting to sugarcoat stuff only helps the predators continue their predatory practices. Doesn't help a shred of child, doesn't help to want to equalize them and, oh, everyone's a victim here. Sure, everyone's a victim. But if this group consented and this group didn't, well, that's what's being questioned on the record today. So make 2 categories and call them victims over here. And anyone who feels very strongly about advocating for the rights of adults that literally sign contracts that would have been against their best interests, but all full knowing, will need advocates. They'll need pro bono criminal attorneys. They will need people that can help them sort out what in the hell they did. So by all means, everyone needs to be helped, except that, you know, right now we're focusing on all the kids that are not been advocated for in 74 years of Scientology operating. OSA has articles out on Nicole's father saying that he was a trafficking ring, claiming he was a P, which was all BS. They stalked her family here in Australia. Who's Nicole? I'm not sure who Nicole is, you guys, so I can't really comment on that. Ron Hubbard, never defend, always attacked. What else is news? Yeah, exactly, Martha. I mean, that is their MO, you guys. That is their MO. And it's their MO right now in the public record. So all of this first generation that really did buy the pitch, that did really leave, you know, are just still at it, attacking and not calling themselves out and not taking accountability and not writing affidavits where they are actually coming actually clean. And they know what coming clean is. In those hotels, they did drill that. So if you think, oh, well, maybe they don't have the handwriting skills to really come clean, they do, you guys, they do. But as I said before, when they were inside the hotel, they were all about writing that. When they left the hotel, oh no, never mind, let's not do that anymore. Grounded for Truth. Hi, Grounded for Truth. Several families that were at Hollywood and Highland asked me what was going on, and I shared your message. Most people don't know that the COS is a trafficking business of kids. No more kids in Scientology. Thank you, Grounded for Truth, and shout out to you because you have been a big ally and a big supporter, and we really do appreciate the advocacy, you guys, because again, it's like what Grounded for Truth is talking about. You know, with the corporate media not wanting to give the American people anything unpalatable, anything that makes it look like the Constitution is just a document that they can shred whenever you hire the right attorney, because that's what in the hell it's called. If we have child modern day slavery taking place in hotels, then the Constitution is nothing but a pathetic pitch so that Americans can really think that, yes, we used to enslave people back in the day, but, you know, now that we transport them in planes from Mexico to here, now they're not being transported in ships. We didn't put you in chains when you were in the plane. That's right, you guys. I wasn't handcuffed to go work in that hotel. Other types of manipulation was used so that I would think that it was in my best interest and I was consented to be co-opted into this racketeering scheme. That's what in the hell is being called out. And I appreciate Grounded for Truth and all of y'all that are here, you know, finding out what we need advocates for and finding out that all Scientology parents need to be held accountable. And it's not just a David Miscavige problem, because that has been the pitch. There's been the pitch ad nauseum. David. If it wasn't for David. They cannot get that word David out of their MF mouth. And we're telling them, that's it. Knock it off. David is the least of your problems. Look at what you did, which is how you purported you get your ethics inside of the hotel too. So don't just leave that threshold and then all of a sudden ethics means complain about other people. Because in that hotel, you guys, they didn't allow you that. Now, we can allow every single one of the Scientology parents to contextualize their individual situationship. How many kids did you donate to the Sea Org? None? Cool. Did you expose your kids to audits when they were underage? No? Never? Cool. Did you expose your child to be taken into a course when they were a minor? Yes? Okay, but then what course? Oh, so you got to class 4 as a 15-year-old. Why were you so okay, full knowing what audits are, having your minor do what other adults role played with you and what you knew these sessions could become? So yes, you guys, the devil's in the details, and yes, there's nuance to everything, and there's facts that every Scientology parent knows for themselves what they did. I'm calling out the situationship that they're in. They can come with the specifics. Well, I did this. Well, I did that. Well, I contributed to this and I contributed to that, and I couldn't be more disgusted with myself. And here, FBI, Crimes Against Children Unit, let me help you build a case. Criminal cases don't just appear out of nothing, you guys. Like, criminal cases don't just get made on their own. They don't. So if no one contributes a shred, and all it is let's launder our image, let's make some quick cash, then who are they helping other than themselves? It's an honest question. It's a literal honest question that we are allowed to ask, because there's nothing wrong with asking questions and demanding answers that make sense. If the answers make sense, then cool, we can move on to the next thing. So, Tampa girl, we love you, Serge, and shame on all the parents for not being parents. Real parents protect children. Thank you, Tampa girl. That's right. I mean, it's that simple, you guys. It's just literally like common sense. Like, why are we having to defend the fact that parents should have basic humanity in them to not expose their kids to harm's way? Because again, it's like the pitches of L. Ron Hubbard were very clear. So if the parents want to go with, oh, L. Ron Hubbard was not clear. No, L. Ron Hubbard was clear. He made you clear all the words. He groomed you. It was normalized, but it was also normalized under very shady circumstances. You know, it's not good enough to go, like Jerry Prince already told us, well, everybody was committing the criminal activity, so we all just jumped on it, and all of a sudden everybody was doing it, so then it doesn't count. Then it's not a criminal conspiracy. By all means, Attorney General of Florida, Ashley Moody, that purports to really want to end trafficking in Florida, make that make sense to us right now. If all the adults, if all the parents were all just so happy-go-lucky to really expose kids to this, if they were the ones that had the passport before and turned them over to a hotel, who's trafficking here? Like, kids didn't just appear out of nowhere. It wasn't immaculate conception, you guys. It wasn't like we're just like got born in a hotel out of nowhere, out of immaculate conception, and all of a sudden we chose this for ourselves. We had parents that brought us there. We had parents that normalized this for themselves. We wouldn't wish what happened to us as kids on any other kids. And we wouldn't wish what our parents have to deal with, the facts, on our literal worst enemy. We've said that ad nauseum. We don't get pleasure from having to expose what it is. There's no pleasure in confronting something so abominable, disgusting, indefensible, and inhuman. And the fact that America, the United States of America, and all the corporate media cannot stop insulting everyone's intellect. You know, in what world is child trafficking a religious experience, you guys? Like, that's the point. It's like, and that's where these parents are going to have a very hard time, you know, backpedaling, because again, L. Ron Hubbard implicated them. They were in on the conspiracy. They identified with the rhetoric. And then they went ahead and entitled themselves to use the rhetoric on their kids under the guise that they were trying to help a kid. And we're calling out in this year 2024, that is not a thing. Lily, studies have proven that anyone under 21 and 25, the brain is still developing, so they're not able to make critical discussions for themselves. And that's a very good point, Lily, because, you know, it wasn't until my early 20s that I was able to escape the hotel. And, you know, like I've discussed before, I left the hotel, you know, had to wash bathrooms with muriatic acid, get interrogated, get yelled at, get a committee of evidence, get told that I'm a suppressive, disgusting, degenerate, degraded person, that how dare I want to break the contract. I was making them so much money. I was so good at completing people on the courses. I was so good at interrogating others and all of that disgusting shit. Well, you know what? I didn't want to do it anymore. When my brain did have that little capacity, I was like, I don't give an F. Put me to wash whatever in the hell bathroom you want me to wash, but I'm getting the F out of this disgusting place. And that happened. So you can get out when you get a little bit of shred of capacity to be like, F these people. You know, thank God I didn't stay there. Thank God I didn't stay until my 40s abusing kids, because that is disgusting, indefensible, not okay. Full court press. I don't understand how a church has services for sale to begin with. Donations and tithing don't look like this. Well, and I'm glad you bring that up, full court press, because it's the donations, you guys. Remember, like, people go, oh, $10,000, oh, $50,000. How many donations were made by Jeffrey Epstein to offset his taxes? Because that's your answer right there. So as much as people want to say, oh, they scammed you, you gave them 50 grand, you were taking it off of your taxes. I'm talking about millionaires with a ton of money, Trish Duggan, that can just be like, okay, have 1 million people advising her about how to move money around and donate it to the 501c, and then you'll write off this, and then you'll write off that, and then Scientology just takes it all, and then they hire private investigators to ruin our lives because they don't want to be asked a single question, and they hire all manner of attorneys to really purport that as long as you have the money to pay expensive attorneys, there is no constitution. So yes, it's a price, but yes, they're being incentivized to pay for it, just like people would buy a piece of art at a charity and then gain status between their friends and their people of influence there. This is a millionaires club. This is a millionaires club, making the able more able, making the Grant Cardones that have cash and investments and all of that. Those are the top of what Scientology really is. The Elizabeth Moss, the John Travoltas with planes, with excess money. Yes, then there's the people at the bottom of the pyramid scheme. They're not Elizabeth Moss, but they feel like, okay, well, as long as I'm in Lizzie Moss's church, then I must be so special. Never mind, they would never get a shred of FaceTime with any of the celebrities because they're peons. Unless you're somebody with something, you are not elevated from the level of peon. That's just what it is. So that's what we keep mentioning. In what world can adults be paying for services delivered by minors inside hotels? Because that would be a better question to really start answering from these hotels. Ahata on fire. PSA, Scientology auditing is repetitive covert hypnosis. Covert hypnosis is illegal. Scientology auditing is illegal. Yeah. And that's a very good point about the hypnosis. You know, it's like, it is repetitive AF. Like everything is methodical. Everything is thought of. Everything is you regurgitating what L. Ron Hubbard said. If you said a word that L. Ron Hubbard didn't say, if you even didn't sound like L. Ron Hubbard, you guys, it would send you back. You don't sound like L. Ron Hubbard when you're interrogating. So go listen to L. Ron Hubbard and really hear how he interrogates people. So it's just disgusting. You guys have had such great commentary here. I feel like we really have gone, And that's why I love reading your comments, because, it's like, that's what it's going to have to take to get the facts exposed, including the comments of pushback. Pushback is necessary, you guys. Like, pushback is normal, right? It's like people are in different stages of understanding what this is. We don't expect them to understand that because, in what world can anyone understand if they weren't there? You guys have empowered us not to be scared either. Today, I'm not scared to stand against COS because of all you guys. Well, thank you, Ken. That's what we're talking about, like people are allowed to have pushback. Like everyone's opinion is theirs. So it's not about shutting people off because you don't like what they're going to say. You just have to respond with things that make a shred of sense and not be insulted or take it personal or make it about yourself. I know it's not being about me. Like I'm just the messenger of the message. I'm the one that had that disgusting childhood. So now it becomes incumbent on me to advocate from my position. And that's all the power I have. I have nothing else. I have no other power other than answer and make questions on a public street or in the privacy of my home. And that's enough. That's enough for now. It's more power than I've ever had my whole life. There's 171 of you here. And I appreciate every single one of y'all. Because again, it's like we are getting into the weeds of very, very dark, deep subjects that are not easy to discuss. Like this is, no one said it would be easy. Pearl Snappy, I'll be channeling the power surge at ATX February 3. I can't believe is where your grandmother was. Well, thank you, Pearl Snappy. Thank you for representing. And again, you guys, this is the type of magic that is happening as our communities unite, as people become empowered to do something about the problem. You cannot advocate on a problem that you have no shred of a clue what in the hell's going on. You just can't, right? And we cannot, have a discourse with these people about adults not doing what in the hell they're getting implicated in, because that's not how it works. Like, yes, you can want no adult to ever take any type of fentanyl, but good luck stopping them if they're addicted. Who gets to stop someone that's an addict? Who really can stop? Nobody. They have to decide that they want to not be that addict. They have to do heavy lifting. That's called adulting. It's just literally called adulting. So that's what's being discussed here about that. Linda, search showed us the tutoring place across the mothership building next to a pizza place with some sick name I can't remember. This cult is sick. Sinful Pizza, you guys. Right across from Hubbard's museum is Sinful Pizza. And I was just like, Sinful Pizza. And I mean, Linda's talking about, it's an alternative place. Let's just put it that way. But it was giving that whole like QAnon conspiracy theory, like the Pizzagate thing. And I'm not saying that pizza place is anything like that, but it's like how weird that Ron Hubbard's literal life exhibition is across this place that is called Sinful Pizza, where they are trafficking minors. And it's not just some sort of deranged conspiracy that we just came up with, And then next to it is that Applied to Scholastic's place where they're targeting minors and, oh yeah, let's really teach your kids something and, bring them over here. And, it's like, no. About 25 years ago, there was a Scientology building in my city. I honestly can't remember when it was closed. Oh, okay. Here's Joe with other words of advice. Plenty of parents not in Scientology get pitched that idea, and guess what? If they take it, they are subject to the law. That's right, you guys, because there is precedent to what we're talking about, and Scientology parents, go look up Ruby Franke, who had a so-called therapist with her, a Mormon therapist, whatever, that was supposedly helping her with the kids and, pitching her all manner of child abuse. And, she carried it out. And then Ruby Franke had to cop out to some charges to get them lowered. And then she's facing justice, as she should, because there is no world where religion can be used and all of a sudden everyone's critical thinking skills are paralyzed. That is the only world where these traffickers thrive. and they've gotten away with it because of that. So Mummers, I think I'm just too emotional tonight. Everything Sir just saying is hurting my soul. I'm so glad to have you lovelies here with me to advocate for the children. Thank you, Mummers. And again, you guys, we'll all get to hold space for the truth to come out and be said and be exposed and the facts to be confronted on their face. It's unthinkable, it's disastrous. There is no more unpalatable, inconvenient truth. Believe you me. Again, it's like to have to go through our prying our eyes open to wake up to this level of betrayal, trauma is unthinkable. But again, it's like, if it isn't confronted, if people don't know, if people are not informed, if people don't want to hear it, then all that happens is that those kids have no chance of getting saved. And I would know how much I would long and disassociate to think that one day somebody was going to come and say, oh, all the minors need to leave. Never mind. We've really figured it out that you guys were using too many minors. And when they are 21 and up, they can come, like that was a fantasy that I had that kept me somehow, delusional, because no one ever came to our rescue. No matter what these people did to us, they've never been told no. They've never been told not okay. They've just been enabled and enabled and enabled. And no. On Hata on Fire, auditing is hideously damaging to children, in my opinion. They broke children like prisoners of war. Very, very good point, Anata, because yeah, it's a Guantanamo level interrogation that they were doing. It's literal torture, because in what world is false imprisonment not torture? It's like as if the law hasn't already established that for itself, you guys. No one is allowed to interrogate others without an advocate being there to, help them through getting interrogated, even if they are suspected of a crime, or if there's evidence of that. No one could just nab you and grab you and lock you up and, unless you're the LAPD. Unless you're the LAPD, yes, very a la Scientology, you can get literally assaulted and all manner of stuff be done to you, all manner of receipts that you have in your hand, and then the LAPD goes, yeah, we're also going to do this to you. So, but thank you for that, Anata, because it's very, very true. It's very much giving Guantanamo Bay. Oh, and Martha, I guess you are in Miami. Anyone in Miami for an audit? Yes, you guys are doing all these audits in all the organizations. San Diego was getting audited by Chris Without Hellcat today. And, we have the one in Austin, and all of these people have kids and have scams going on, and, they should get audited everywhere. And I just want to remind you guys that when you're auditing with your phone, when you have a community behind you witnessing the same things that you're all going in this expedition together. That's the difference today. Have I ever been able to do this in my life? Did I ever think in my wildest dreams I would be up to 2 a.m. sitting outside any of these places? No, my nervous system could not tolerate it, you guys. And it's not an over or understatement. It's literally the level of PTSD and the level of petrification. I mean, as if all my traumas as a child being stuck there under injustices haven't manifested as we're doing this, as if yesterday I was livid AF when I saw that the LAPD took it upon themselves to handcuff a minor that has exercised his First Amendment right. If you have even 16, you are allowed to have your opinion. I didn't know that. Inside of that hotel, I didn't have an opinion. Solomon is allowed to have an opinion, is allowed to be there. No one's telling him to be there. No one's coordinating anything. This is a decentralized movement, you guys. Like everyone shows up whenever, for whatever, in whatever day. There's no roll call. There's no, you better be here. There's no nothing. Nobody gives an F. If you want to be there, be there. If you want to leave, leave. If you want to go, go. If you want to live stream, do it. If you don't feel like it, then don't. Like there is a decentralized movement because the people that are doing this is not doing it for any other reason other than, understanding that there are real victims behind these hotels and those walls, victims who we don't know the names of, victims that don't have a shred of advocate, victims that are ensnared in a disgusting maze of normalized abuse. And they need the help. They do need the help. And yes, Ashley, save the kids. Period. Shouldn't be earth rocket science. That's why we're bringing this conversation to the table. 21 and under, you cannot even visit a bar. You have to be carded to go inside. You have to prove you're of the age of consent to whatever takes place there. It's on you. And we couldn't agree with that more. If you are an adult, then it's on you. We don't have enough babysitters to look after every adult that makes a bad decision. You have to have and use discernment at that point. And hopefully at 21, you start having some, and you might make mistakes and you might get stuck in something, but it is what it is, right? Ashley, what can I do from PA? I need to help. Well, thank you, Ashley. Well, you all can email me at sergedelmar@proton.me. And, if there is a possibility of working together, if y'all have a specialty that you feel like it could help or anything like that, it takes a village of all of us concerned American citizens that don't stand for any of this, because this is not what in the Constitution it said. So we appreciate, again, all of y'all's support saying, oh, hell no, this is what the book said. This is black and white. It says slavery was abolished, and I'm finding out that there is slaves being brought into hotels. Well, I don't know. We have to talk to all the city officials. We have to talk to all the corrupt people at the LAPD to stop being corrupt. And we have to raise hell with our First Amendment, with our questions. That's it. With being on a street, unable to handcuff any perpetrator that we might think is a perpetrator. Like, we can't tell the LAPD who to handcuff. I told everyone everything about Debbie Cook. Doesn't mean that I have the power to go and me administer the justice. That's not due process. That's not what I get to have. I get to say what I know. I get to talk about it from my own experience. But again, it's the due process that does need to be followed. It's very hard for victims to even understand what in the hell that means, you guys, because justice is a bit of a joke in this country as we see all the corruption unfold. But you know what? There is a way to get justice. And, many, throughout millennia, there's been horrific injustices that have been rectified, as if, no one else can now go and, enslave other adults in chains and bring them in a ship like they used to get away with, and work them to death into fields and treat them like they weren't humans or they were subhumans. That has, for all intents and purposes, disappeared, the perception of that. But, there are attorneys that are very pressed to, black out the Constitution as long as their client pays them enough money to prop this up. And, those type of people literally, can really speak. Anatha, Liz Gale can't even articulate the damage forced child auditing did to her psychologically. I mean, thank you. That's exactly what we're in hell with talking about, you guys. It's like your brain and your maturity level is in no way, shape, or form of an adult. And to subject kids to this, it's like, it's all so non sequitur. Nothing makes sense. Like, you're just being taken for a ride, and you couldn't be more confused, and you couldn't be more disgusted, nauseated, and you can't say no. You cannot say no. So, yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's what we're discussing here. Like, no more kids being audited. I mean, as much as it's been normalized, no. Pause for Andrea's. I came to listen to Search right after Mike Brown's talk on his mom, Rosemary, about the elder abuse she suffered. It's all hard to hear, but important to know. That's right, you guys. It's all very hard to hear, but we know it. We can hold space. Remember, for sometimes for empaths, it's not about taking the pain. It's about just holding space. That's what produces the power to the survivor, right? Like, survivors need to be empowered. And, I know how hard it is to be an empath, because you can really absorb the imagery that is playing out, and with so many of you being survivors yourself of other horrific things that, no one's even bringing up. You know what I mean? It's like, as a community, we're advocating against people getting away with that. And that's also part of your own healing journey as a survivor, to be like, oh my God, I now can lend a hand to this. And, that's an important journey of all of our recovery. When we get to this other side of the flip side and go, oh, now we can do this. Martha, Ashley Moody really sucks. Scientology lobbies state government in Florida. Thank you, Martha. That's exactly what it is, you guys. Scientology has all prominent attorney law firms in Florida by the literal, what, BALLS. All manner of prominent attorneys in Florida decided, oh, I'm going to get paid and I'm going to be on retainer. And that just means that I can never have a conflict of interest, but you will never call me because you will just handle it all yourselves at the hotel. Great. Where do I sign up for that? Let me bring this to my partners at this law firm. And Florida law firms are all getting called out. You have a relationship with these people. Well, get ready to defend that relationship. Get ready to answer the questions that the State Bar Association of Florida and Los Angeles is going to have to start answering, because those two little agencies that sit there with their literal head up, their literal what, cannot rein in unhinged attorneys. Cannot rein in thirsty AF attorneys that go, oh, you are making all this money from blood money. Where do I sign up for that? I can defend that. Don't you know who we are? Don't you know that we're the top tier attorneys that, have all manner of past in the law? Oh yeah, we used to be the attorney general myself of Florida. So let me really sign up for that. And I used to be the blah, blah, blah of this and the blah, blah, blah of that. And, everybody goes with this, oh, well, if the Inspector General Attorney of Florida took on this client, then it really must mean that the client-attorney relationship will never be problematic at all. And, they can really trust what their client is doing. And, meanwhile, they cannot rein their client in because their client is following the rhetoric of a convicted, indicted felon to the letter. And if they don't know that, the attorneys, well, you know what? They fail to do the first thing before any attorney should take a single shred of client, in my own personal 7th grade education opinion, which I am allowed to have. Are you not going to be able to rein in your client? Then good luck defending what in the hell this is. Streets LA is who we need to show us the way to audit Scientology. That's right, you guys. With examples of courage, courage is contagious. Then all of a sudden you see someone else having the courage to stand up for somebody's rights. And although he was really on the surface of everything, that is what you call smelling a rat. Having perceptions that you're just like, wait, what happened just here? What happened with the cops? This doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. Let me investigate this. Let me check it out. Let me stand outside here. Oh, this Colombian is bringing minors. Oh, look, I captured it all on video. Oh, look, there's a 16-year-old going in there. Oh, look, they're just kept it there for 3 hours. Oh, look, we caught it all on tape. That's all. That's the audit. That's the audit. It's called a receipt. And without having had the ability to see, I mean, it's like, where were our parents showing us that level of courage? Nowhere. Because they're just too pressed to save themselves and to launder their image so that, no one perceives them as the full self-entitled, deluded child abusers that they can thank Ron Hubbard for making them turn into that. That's the fact, We'll give them that grace. Wasn't your idea. It was Ron Hubbard's. But you were doing the bidding, implicating you in a conspiracy, implicating you in racketeering, implicating in the largest scale operation of trafficking through hotels worldwide that I cannot seem to find another shred of example like this. So they couldn't be more effed. They couldn't be more effed because, again, there's 175 people of you right now literally watching, literally being in the know, literally understanding that, kids are kids and they do need help. So it was the testimony of a 15-year-old girl who hammered the last nail in the coffin for Keith Rainier of NXIVM cult in my hometown. Oh, I didn't know that. Whistleblowing good witch, and shout out to you, one of our mods. Yeah, and imagine that NXIVM, you guys, was this many minors implicated. It's mostly adults over here, and then, no minor should ever be implicated. Never mind that all adults that are around minors should really check that y'all are not doing something disgusting, because that's the precedent that needs to be set in America. You F with kids, you enslave them, no mercy for you. Simple. Simple. Make it too gruesome for any deranged person to come up with any ideas like Ron Hubbard. Oh, I'm going to grab Shelly Miscavige and shove her in a ship. Oh, but then if I do get caught for that, then I'm going to suffer so much that, no, never mind, Shelly, go have a childhood and let me see if I can scam some adults. And then, if that would have been done, then we wouldn't have this conversation here because, if you're implicated as an adult, get a criminal attorney to advocate for you. You deserve that. No one's saying that they don't deserve attorneys. No one's saying that the case needs to be made without a shred of an attorney, but the crimes were committed. The felonies that are written in the law were perpetrated. Starting with all of the executives, starting with Debbie Cook, starting with the top of the fish of the network, that all were conspiring. And that's what in the hell it's called, you guys. Oh, hello. Let me report my statistics. I'm Debbie Cook. Yes, we recruited 21 people this week. We're highest ever. Yay, 21 people that we got from all manner of countries, that we got from, out of 21, ended up being 13 of them were minors, but, they're adults in small bodies. We have their passports now. They're very gung-ho to be part of this hotel. And that's it. Every week that was reported and done with a full straight face, with Debbie Cook cashing quick checks for herself today. Yeah, live it up. Make it rain. I'm Debbie Cook. I can, do whatever. I'm an entitled woman that was allowed to be a modern day slave owner of kids inside hotels where she did have a jolly old time, in the public record, in Debbie Cook's own words. You guys, we're not putting words in her mouth. We don't have to. She's on the public record. She's at the court really going with, I would have signed that, that I would have, murder babies and loved it. And she did. Imagine that she did that and she still blabbed it out as a supposed thing about like, oh, I was under so much duress to get my 100 grand. Imagine. So I'm Debbie Cook. I'm under so much duress to get 100 grand check. So let me sign. And I would have signed that I wanted to murder babies and loved it. And then she did that. She did that with every single last shred of Cirque member that she made do to their babies because they did get pregnant. So I have zero tolerance for essay against kids. I don't wish harm against others, but I have no problem sleeping and wishing the worst upon those who abuse kids. I mean, it's just natural, you guys. It's just, we're not the bad guys for feeling this way about it. I think that that's what these predators want us to think. Oh, don't judge me so badly. But it's like, no, you're going against human nature, dude. Even animals don't do this to their things. Even ducks take better care of their little duckies, make sure that they're all together. That is nature. You're not supposed to have a kid and then all of a sudden you're treating him as an adult and exposing him to all this disgusting stuff. And unfortunately, that's what we have. TikTok didn't need a phone call from Scientology. They have minors doing weird on their platform. Well, good point. I mean, again, you guys, it's like as if the minors are not being trafficked through TikTok. As if the influencers, the teenagers, that TikTok is all about the guidelines. When it's minors doing little dances and having all manner of disgusting men DMing them, then it's okay. TikTok is, oh, great, you guys. We're really making that quick cash because we got tons of little underages. And, again, with the BS that Scientology puts up, right? It's like, oh, look at our community lines. We're really concerned for kids. Are you concerned with kids? Or are you the modern day traffickers through your platform? TikTok is an agency. You guys, again, as much as everybody pretends, oh my God, you so organically grew up to 1.1 million. No, that's not how it happens. That's not how the algorithm works. That's not how the content is done. They're like, oh, look, she's got the look. She's got the appeal. She's got the eyeballs on her. Get that content out there. Get us making money. Let's get advertisers here. Oh, look, our statistics, how much people are consuming in our app. What are they consuming? Underage kids doing what exactly? Can they consent to what they're being made to do? No, absolutely not. Just like the Hollywood kids, like Drew Barrymore, couldn't consent to be part of ET and all of these adulticized roles where kids don't have agency yet. They haven't even discovered themselves and they're being told who to be. They're being told how to be. They're being shown ways that are so unhealthy to develop as kids that everyone's like, real pressed because the kids are addicted to it because, they're becoming a celebrity. And it's like, yes, if you play that little game to kids, they're all going to want to be celebrities. Like it's very easy to sell that to gullible kids. Become famous. That's how you prove everyone that you're so above everyone else. Show us that you have 1 million followers on TikTok and then all of a sudden you're really worth something. You really done something. You're really that special above others because your statistics and your metrics on TikTok is what's getting these kids off. As if TikTok doesn't know that. And their pathetic community guidelines couldn't be more pathetic. If TikTok really wants to solve the problem, then really start taking actual steps to solve y'all's problem. And miss us with the communist grooming that's going on through your MF platform, as if these kids, you guys, as they're on TikTok, you should see the PTSD that they get whenever somebody says a word. It's like, oh, you said that word. Oh my God, I need to restart it. Oh my God, I'm going to get a community violation. Oh my God. Very Scientology reminiscent. Not the same stuff, but grooming, sound like this, be like that. This is okay. This is not okay. We're TikTok. We decide. We really know what in the hell we're doing at TikTok. Well, as our commenter just pointed out here, why is it full of underage kids and why are they doing stuff that's very questionable? And why is China all up in our business? And why is the LA office listening to the leadership of China as if they don't know, you guys? Do you know that China would hate to see people exercising First Amendment right? That is the biggest threat to their power in China. That all of a sudden people can go, we have full transparency. You can F with us. Everyone will see. Your powers to just be corrupt will dissolve because what? It's called receipts. It's called you can't gaslight us. It's called here it is what it happened. The camera doesn't give an F about anyone's opinion at the LAPD in Aaron's arrest. Camera doesn't give a shred of an F. How many people are gonna be busted for having been caught literally breaking the law themselves, literally betraying their oath, literally handcuffing a kid that was trafficked by these hotels that they are very pressed to come and support. So TikTok is the problem. TikTok is a very disgusting platform that is being used and weaponized against the youth. And this movement was started by LA streets, but followed up by very savvy kids that got in there and started asking questions and started filming stuff and started seeing what a scam and a sham it all was. But, does TikTok really want to promote that type of activism? No. Oh my God. Imagine we export that to China and the Chinese government all of a sudden sees all these people like they're videotaping everything. Wait, we're videotaping them. Shouldn't be like they videotape us. We videotape them. We have the power dynamic imbalance. North Korea, China, Scientology, USSR, KGB, they're all the same version of the same stupidity, guys. Same thing. We tell you what to do. We tell you what to think. We groom you. You conform to our guidelines that are never going to be in your best interest. So yes, Jessica Mento could have given so much time of her time and her talent to TikTok all so that they could cancel her, disconnect her, declare her suppressive from one day to the other and have no recourse. No, oh no, you signed it. You signed that you were all about this TikTok and you signed this long, lengthy things that the TikTok disgusting attorneys typed up for themselves because, let me just type this language and then all kids can be fully consenting to just everything and we just have all the power and, constitutional rights are shredded. Who gives an F? And yes, we can't tell private companies how to run their business, you guys, but if the business is rotten to its core, you are allowed to say, y'all's business is literally disgusting. If you don't want to call it that, then that's fine. Everyone can have their own opinion. But TikTok is the problem. TikTok is now joined the LAPD and joined Scientology as literal traffickers of kids, underage minors. TikTok, listen to that TikTok leadership. Listen to that. Minors making, 10 grand a month? The moms are all about that. The parents are signing them up. Oh, make another video, make another video, make another video. Again, you guys, let's not go into a cold tangent, but there's plenty of info on that already, of lawsuits being done from underage minors being put to work so that parents can be cashing checks for themselves because I'm doing this in your best interest. Oh, this is what you really want to do. You really have been selected by the algorithm that is very organic and has no undue influence at the Los Angeles office where they hand select, you're going to be an influencer. Come here. You look at your numbers. You really are getting a lot of eyeballs on you. Let's turn up your account. Jessica Palmadesa, when you were, talking about sugar daddies and Playboy, then it was all okay. And then all of a sudden, you're doing this and then, not okay. Why? And there's nothing wrong with this since she wasn't a minor. Scientology's thrown that against her. There's nothing with her doing whatever in the hell she wanted, but this content, not okay. This content, completely okay. So make it make sense, TikTok. One account that has the live of kids finding out what trafficking actually looks like. Oh, have to cancel that. The other content that was just superfluous jokes, funny as hell. But yes, anybody that consumes that content is going to get, it's not content that was supposed to incite some sort of intellectual situationship. I'm not saying all content has to be like that, but given that we have a very specific case of TikTok showing us what in the hell they do, they are the next platform where kids now cannot find out, because since TikTok has all the kids, very Scientology again, who has the most kids on their MF platform? TikTok. And who are the ones that are saying we couldn't be more ethical, we couldn't be more high standards on our community lines? TikTok. So you have all the kids, you're monetizing them all, you're making them addicted to your disgusting app. You don't want them to learn about civil rights, peaceful protesting, having an example to follow, to be like, oh, damn, if I see a scam, I am allowed to call it out and I shouldn't be fearing for my life. But that's not the type of examples that China leadership of TikTok wants to have on the record. So just like that, we're stuck in this situation where, these kids suffer because, yes, after you put in all this time to your account, they can just take it away from you from 1 second to the other. They are disconnected. They are declared suppressives. And all of a sudden, now they're shit out of luck. Good luck. No attorney's going to go and say, TikTok. No, TikTok is private. They can do whatever's convenient to the corporation. Because, yes, America loves corporations, you guys. America loves protecting the rights of corporations. And why is that? Because lawyers, high-paid lawyers that, the corporation cannot suffer. I'm getting paid to protect the corporation. Just like Scientology, just like TikTok, just like the LAPD corruption. They're all protecting their interests and protecting their shenanigans that they're all about. So given that TikTok couldn't be more implicated in having done the bidding of these people that somehow got these accounts canceled by typing fake emails, God knows what in the hell. Susan Watson could have done it. Osa could have done it. Attorneys that they work for could have done it. People that work in Hollywood that don't want to have this information out there could have done it. Many ways. This all could have gone down, but we still have the same exact result. So we're staying vigilant and we're staying in our power, and we are repudiating all of this dysfunction out of our lives once and for all. So we're going to do part 2 tomorrow, you guys. We're going to get into the next part of this documentary, and we're going to continue getting into the weeds of it all. And we're going to continue asking questions until we start getting answers that make a shred of sense. And the more things we catch on video, LAPD, leadership at the LAPD, the more things that are utterly illegal that y'all are doing, abusing your power, is just literally building your own grave and your own ditch. Because again, good luck washing off the blood of every minor that has lost their childhood inside of those hotels, all because y'all want to have a cozy relationship with self-entitled, disgusting, depraved adults. Good luck getting the community behind y'all at the Hollywood division. Y'all's reputation is wrecked. I mean, if this was a stock, you guys, let's say the LAPD, since they've been with Scientology, they've just been, oh, we're so helpful. Oh, we want to help the community. Oh, let's sing some songs. Oh, let's bring a little fruit basket. Oh, let's do a little cleaning. And then all of a sudden, the TikTok people came, and this is what happened to your reputation, LAPD. This free fall. This is what you call this, LAPD. Look up this term, wrecked, R-E-C-K-T. Y'all's reputation is utterly wrecked. Because again, we have all manner of comments, LAPD, just so y'all know that it's not just us being so, whatever you want to label us to, Darbo. It's not going to work. We don't give an F. I mean, even when Aaron was being taken out, y'all saw what I said, you guys. We don't give an F. We have the facts on our side. Who gives an F? These people are so short-sighted. These people are so dumb. They're so idiotic. Go ahead. Let them soil themselves. They're not babies. And no one's going to be there to clean their diaper. So you all at the Hollywood division of the LAPD, y'all have soiled yourselves in public. And we're going to continue to expose that. So better not be doing illegal stuff, because we are prepared to have the facts on our side. So y'all can't touch us, no matter how corrupt and how much abuse of power y'all feel like doing. It isn't going to work. No one's going to be intimidated by corrupt, disgusting powers that be. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So thank you all for joining us for this important discussion today. You guys, we will continue amplifying the subject and getting into more of the weeds until all 21 and under are out of these MF hotels. That's the first ask. First ask, LAPD. First ask, Karen Bass. We demand all 21 and under be taken out of the MF hotel. And if y'all don't do it, don't do it. Because who am I? Some YouTuber that's, opening and closing my mouth. That's the only power that I have. But y'all be advised, because again, it's our communities that is our power. It's not who is blabbing about it. It's the people that are behind this message. It's the people that understand 21 and under kids don't drink. So in what world are they exposed to Ron Hubbard? That's what you have to make sense of today, Karen Bass. That's your job as the mayor. You're hosting them. You've hosted them for the last year that you've been mayor. Well, you know what? Great. Great. Put all those staffers that you have in your office to start typing stuff. And you go call that police chief of yours that wants to retire real soon, for some reason, really wants to retire now. I mean, as if we didn't hear from the reporter that there's a lot more than meets the eye. So check out my live yesterday, you guys, that there is an investigative reporter on the trail of the LAPD. And now, seeing everything that's being audited and being found out about Scientology and connecting Rick Caruso, Karen Bass, the LAPD, USC, CBS, all manner of corporations that are all doing what they do. So thank you very much for covering all of this with me today, you guys. And stay vigilant, continue asking questions, and continue asking your questions in the comments. And I will see you all extremely soon. Bye-bye. Have a great evening, everyone.